Sorry, just putting up little Beth's message there a couple of times just to give her a little wave. How you doing, sweetheart? And that was to you, Daz. How you doing, sweetheart? Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to this week's Thursday Night Live. Hope everybody's good and had a good week up to press. How about yourselves, guys? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, busy.
Pretty quick so far, isn't it? Only one more day to go, Daz, and it's the weekend.
Well, a bit of a come down after last weekend, wasn't it? Because it was all crazy.
It was crap going back to work. I'll say that much, man.
Yeah.
It was a good bit of fun, man, wasn't it? Had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Apart from the fucking rain, that was mad.
Yeah. And the wipers breaking on the way home.
Oh my god, yeah. That was all right. We pulled into car park and his wife, almost into car park, and his windscreen wipers packed in. Found out that the linkage system had separated apart. So I had to get AA out. They did a temporary repair, which managed just to near enough to get Daz home to his mum's, but then from his mum's to his, it packed in again, didn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely bucketed it down. So I had to stop every 20 yards and wipe the windscreen.
Is that the same as pissed it down?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Very similar.
Not bucketed, pissed it down.
Yeah, very similar.
That's where I come from. You can't say bucketed down. People will look at you.
Say what's up with you, mate. Dr. Kempo says, hi, Gaz and Crafty. Thanks for joining us again, Doc. That'll be good.
Good evening.
What did I miss that one? Oh, no, sorry. Jigs has put in there. Mark Childs, Jigsy Bud. Lorraine says, man down, no Rick yet. Is he being shy? He did actually say, he sent me a message saying, I will try to be on time.
Fail.
He's failed. But he's a busy man.
Special Gaz.
A very busy man. So. Daz.
Yeah.
Oh. Hang about.
Science. Let me see if it works. My God, it works.
Breathing. Yes. Crafty, if you want some, mate, I'll send you some Fox's Glacier mints. But the fruit ones.
Mate, I'm starving now. You've done that. I'll do my best not to think of any food.
Look at that. We've rocketed straight to 100 people watching already. Thanks very much for being joining us a bit late, because we are getting some serious numbers in and watching now. It's mad.
I've just shared it on my Facebook page as well, mate. Again.
Thank you very much, mate.
See if we can
hopefully, Lorraine, will be
for the community.
Kelly says, had a good day, got a tattoo that I've wanted for a long time. Feel free to post it and I'll share it with everybody, providing it's in a place where we can share it.
As long as it's not
if not, post it anyway.
Please don't put on a bits of me. I'm not the only one.
Lisa Leach says, great week, chilling after being very busy. Busy last week doing the show. I bet that was busy. I bet that was complete utter madness, to be fair. From what I've seen of what goes on, it takes a hell of a lot of doing. And hats off to anybody that gets involved with all that, because it is greatly appreciated by the public and us that come to watch it. Let's have a quick look through. Crafty, agree. Where that Crafty? Yeah, George says, agree. Yeah.
Sorry,
Evening, Carl from Gwen.
Wait, straight in the eyes, that did.
Vibes Aquatics. If you haven't checked out his channel, please do pop by, swing him, and go. If one of the admin could do us a favor and just bang this channel up there, because Vibes Aquatic did post us a little bit of a super sticker or super chat last week. Appreciate it, mate. And he had to dash off pretty quick. Aaron Mooney says, evening all. Sharpie says, hey ups, all great day last Saturday, and here he is, Rick, just in the back door. Fully enjoyed it, mate. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Absolutely loved it. It was a great weekend. I think everybody was pretty happy with. There we go. I think everybody was pretty happy
in the house.
It was brilliant.
Bill.
Evening, Rick.
How are we doing?
All good.
You had a good weekend somewhere. Did I not get invited?
I'm sorry, mate. We were going to invite you, like, but
you weren't together.
Sure what it was going to be. So that video that I've done will be dropping, and I would I'll appreciate if everybody watches, obviously, but at the end of the day, I've tried to. It is a long video, and I've made it into the New Forest Koi movie. It's a long one. It's 3 hours 10 minutes, but I don't believe that splitting it would give it the justice it deserves. And I wanted it to be visible for everything for the event that Rick and Vince and everybody else, the staff all involved and everybody put on, which was the 2024 Koi Tuber Fest. And then obviously our visit to the actual New Forest and stopping there and working and doing some grading and stuff with Rick as well. So we had a absolutely fantastic time. If it is too long, pause it and watch it, break it up, split it up into however long you want, or go back to it, whichever. But there is some, and I'm going to say this, there is some, he won't say it, so I will. There is some absolutely beautiful, stunning fish to come from New Forest Koi next year, providing Rick, like he said, can get them through the winter and put size on them and get some growth. There is some absolute bangers to come through next year. So if you haven't, and you've not got anything with some Ginrin or some sparkle on it,
or you like the cheapers,
because he's got some stunning stuff.
Sorry, what cheapers?
We went through that, didn't we? We're still looking and going. First one we were doing, first grading that we did was the Shuru at Suri, wasn't it? Yeah. And we were looking at the Shuru at Suri, and we got, what would you say total, Rick? Maybe about 20, 40, 60, 80 to 100 bangers that made it through into the Munga pond. And then we graded through the metallic stuff. And my God, it was like the complete opposite. We probably dropped out maybe a couple of hundred as opposed to God knows how many that went in.
Just being full of them, weren't there? I mean, literally, there's no water in it hardly. It was just all fish.
It was mad. And then Vince and you went through some more, didn't you? Because there were still quite a few left in there. You did and you were pulling them out.
We had a tidy up operation, didn't we?
Yeah.
Have to drain the ponds and do all the dirty work.
I mean, you said we had to get off and rush off like you had to get home. You got football. That's what it was. That's it. You were playing football Sunday evening. Do you know what time we got home?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Damn near midnight. We got stuck in an accident, didn't we, Daz? So we ended up getting stuck behind a load of traffic, but it was well worth it, man. Absolutely well worth it. Brilliant.
Have to get a flight next time. Be quicker.
We would have been quicker. 6 hour back. It took us 6 hours to get back to Nottingham.
Yeah.
From yours to Nottingham, 6 hours, and then an hour and 3/4 back to mine, and then 3 hours from mine back to Vicky's, which was mad. Totally crazy. But well worth it, mate. Well worth it. 100%.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So Scott P says, good evening, all. Great to meet you at the last weekend. Had a great time. It was, mate. Wicked, wasn't it?
Good to meet you as well, mate, actually.
Yeah.
But brilliant. Not sure where to post your Kelly, you're not sure where to post it? There's a bit that says, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I shall show you.
There's a bit that says verbatim.
Good evening.
It does say good evening, ladies and gents. Something like that.
I just say a massive thank you to Vince and Susan for putting on it's their weekend, not mine. Okay. Really. They've done it all, haven't they? I've just put some fish out and sort of hosted it a bit. It's their thing, isn't it? But it's too popular, isn't it?
It is a massive success.
Yeah, it was double the amount that was probably there last time. At the last 2023s, and I reckon it'll just keep growing from strength to strength to strength. Yeah. I mean, it was brilliant. Everybody gelled. Everybody had a lovely day. Everybody chatted all day long. There were good camaraderie, banter, and laughs, jokes with everybody. It was brilliant, man. Proper loved it. Enjoyed it really well.
I've got one bit of constructive criticism, Rick.
You probably have, mate. Stop the weather.
One, didn't have enough coffee cups, mate.
Yes.
I've heard we ran out. Everyone was on pint cups of tea and coffee. Sean turned round, right, afterwards. I said, we've run out of cups. He goes, there's over 1,000 in the building over there.
Cheers, Sean.
At what point are you going to tell us? But, yeah.
Some people were smart, though, and sensible. and saved the cup, get a quick swill out, and just put it to one side with a letter on it so that they knew it was theirs.
Time I realised they're all gone.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to
I
stop
had
for a
one.
tea or coffee.
I was too busy, too busy to drink. I just quickly show this and share the screen. If you look on the Facebook page, you will see that there is a post there that says, "Good evening, ladies and gents." And it'll says it was posted 22 hours ago. And it's just there. All you need to do is click on that little bit up here where it says comment or add a comment. Click on that. And then you can bring up the little bit and upload your video or your photos there. It's not very far from the top. Look at that. That's a big
Wow.
card.
Yeah, right.
It's about 2 or 3 posts, 4 posts down. You should find it along with all the others.
There you go.
There we go. We got happy birthday, Susan, for Saturday.
Was that the fish called the carrot?
Yeah, that is the carrot, mate. Yeah. Yeah, it's been posted. Apparently, it's been caught for the first time in a long time. And what did it say the size was? One sec.
That's £60 or something, isn't it?
Well,
It's a
I've got
big
one.
carrot.
I've got one for everyone.
67.4 pounds, man.
Oh, that was a nice fish. That, yeah. See,
Yeah.
If you're new watching tonight, don't be shy. Just put first time in the comments so we can see if there's anyone new coming in. Because what I want to do for Gaz is I really want to push this channel and this Thursday night live. So also the amount of people watching, it'd be nice for you to post on Facebook on your own page and share the link to try and entice a few more people in.
Yeah, feel free to share it. The more the merrier. And to be completely honest, Crafty, like you said, mate, we do want to push this more because there's people that join us on this live that have been in the industry. I mean, Rick, Crafty, Ryan Stoddart. We're getting, Alan Tate comes on from time to time, and there's a lot of extensive knowledge. And the reason why we brought this out was to basically we sit and natter and chat like this every night a week, most of us, and we do it on the Discord forum on an evening. Talking about koi, looking at koi, watching videos about stuff, watching content on YouTube, watching people's videos and stuff that they put out. And we wanted to expand this and expand what we all discuss and sit and chat about week in, week out, weekends when we're servicing as ponds, doing as bits and bats, and somebody might say they got a little bit of an issue with this, and we work it out between ourselves and do all that kind of stuff and think, right, what we want to do is push this out into a live and try to help people that are out there with problems and getting people, Alan Tate, first time watching. There you go, Mr.
About
Tate.
time he tuned in, he needs to learn a bit.
Yeah,
He does.
Fucking
Never
learn a
too
lot,
old to learn,
actually.
Alan. Never too old.
Every day's a school day.
but yeah, so basically, if people have got any problems, we've got all this information here and all these people here that can help every night or every Thursday night to help people that have got issues in the ponds. And that's what it's all about. Just basically pushing out as much as we can from all the people that we've got here to help wherever we can. And a bit of
Ryan.
appreciation on the way.
Ryan's watching from Exclusive League. He said he can't make it tonight.
That's all right, mate. I've just sent him a link just in case, and I will do regardless if he ever wants it. He's more than welcome to join, but if he's busy, he's busy, mate.
He's got work on. He's got to edit a few photographs. He said, put Sumi into his fish, make them look. Get rid of the odd stray scale here and there. You know what? I'm only joking, by the way, everyone.
Good to see you're back, Alan. I hope you're feeling a bit more on the mend, mate, and a little bit better.
One step closer, mate. One step closer.
One step closer.
Yeah, like to the heavenly gates.
Oh, you, Alan, that deserves a moose comment. or something like that. Jesus, one step closer to the heavenly gates. My God.
I spoke to him loads. He knows that I've said that to him every day since, to be fair.
Since you found out.
Yeah. I thought we'd lost this then.
Wow. But there you go. Evening all. I'm all good. Brilliant, mate. Glad you are. And if anybody doesn't know, that's Alan Tate of he is the, am I right? Let's see if we get this right. The head chair, or the chairman of the BKKS. So
Joint Standards Committee chair.
there you go. I knew it had something to do with a chair.
JF.
Yeah.
And a joint.
People that sort of the overall governing body of the standards of show fish is what he is the chair of in the UK.
We have got a couple of topics this
What's
evening
the
as
big
well.
dog down here, look.
What's he doing? He's finding somewhere to go sneak a fart out, isn't it?
Oh mate,
No,
yeah.
he don't do that. Just a bit full on. Wait for 9 o'clock.
He's waiting for his
Your
9
voice
o'clock.
just changed
carrot.
then, Crafty. You threw
You
your
what,
voice across the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm good like that, mate.
Andy sounded slightly more feminine when he did it, didn't
I mean,
She ain't got no manners, my missus, mate. She butts in all the time. I have to excuse
he?
her.
All right.
Sorry, everybody.
We have a special thing going on anyway, Saturday morning camera sessions. For all those that's wondering, Crafty went to work over there and left his camera connected to his kitchen. I joined into Discord and saw, hang about, Crafty's camera's still on. Started talking, and next thing I could hear people saying in the background, can you hear voices? That's me talking away in the kitchen. Dr. Kempos for his first question in of the evening. Oh, if you wouldn't mind, ladies and gents, if you could do us a huge favour, as Dr. Kempo there has done there, if you can place you don't have to put them all in, you could just put the word question in capital letters. It just makes it stand out from the other comments so I don't miss anything. And then if anybody has got any comments or questions they would like to ask, we can then identify them a little bit easier. I watched a video of on a Japanese channel showing how to remove the odd out of place scale and cutting koi. What's the panel's thoughts? In other words, what do we think to doctoring koi?
so it's all relative
We've had
again,
this
isn't it?
before,
Yeah, we've had loads. Obviously, a damage scale is
Depends
something
how
different.
far they're going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, these ones, they do all like fancy pattern scroll work in the skin, and that's unacceptable. That's way too much. But an odd little bit of cosmetic surgery, I think, is acceptable.
Well, it's just as well because it happens.
Yeah.
And the fact that it does it means there's a market for it.
It happens a lot in Japan.
Barbaric. I mean, yeah, it's not barbaric, is it? It's if you think of it in a sense of where's it any different to doctoring a dog's tail? And I know that's probably frowned upon as well, but it happens, and it does still happen in a lot of breeds, working dogs, etc., etc. But does it make it right? I don't like the patterns that are drawn on fish at all. I think that is totally wrong. Totally wrong. And I don't agree with it in one shape or form. But if there was a scale that was slightly, leaching into something else and it was a case of a removal of a scale, I don't see as that's as bad as long as it's done humanely and as best possible. If it's for something like, for example, where's the difference between, you say it's barbaric, Winston there, and Dr. Kempo agrees. You say it's barbaric, but you got a fish that's got an ulcer on it. And whilst wanting to treat that fish with an ulcer, you might have to remove the odd few scales around it so that you can get to the root cause of it. Is that barbaric? It's the same procedure.
No.
That's treating a fish that needs treating.
Yeah.
That's different. But obviously, the show stat. What I wouldn't know. Obviously, the show stat. If you or change a koi's appearance, then it's bad from a show. If you took out one stray scale, where's the line drawn? That's the problem.
That's the thing.
It's hot, and it's immediately disallowed from the shows in this country. But yeah, you could take out one rogue red scale. Who's to know? It's just not just it's quite a. It's more to do with the top end of the hobby as well, isn't it? You're not going to do that with fish that are only a few quid here, a few quid there, whatever. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. These are top end, high end fish that they're doing it to.
You're going to make a difference. you know, a fish that's almost perfect, by removing a bit of secondary benny on the gill or scale, you could turn it into literally a perfect fish, and its value goes up by 5-fold. Literally for that. I don't necessarily agree with it, but you can totally understand why farms do it out in Japan or anywhere, and people will then pay for that privilege of having that fish that looks mint for whatever period of time.
Yeah, so the secondary benefits back.
Yeah,
Well,
Variety goldfish that they actually stripped all the scales off, and then the scales grow back in a different form. And that was a recognised way of doing this particular variety of goldfish, and they just stripped all the scales off the goldfish. Now that can't be right.
I know these people. We've got people putting in there.
Sorry,
but that's completely different. The procedure is the same. No, I'm just saying, just answer some of the comments that are coming in there. The procedure is exactly the same. The fact that it's done for sales is the bit that's different. Removing a scale is removing a scale, whether you're doing it for cosmetic reasons or doing it for health reasons or for an ulceration. What I'm meaning is the procedure's the same. Not saying I agree with it, but there's a few people that would say, you know, where's the harm? For me, I think a fish is what it is and should be what it is. And if you manage to find one that is more perfect and it's been bred perfect, that should, in my eyes, demand a higher price bracket.
Yeah, the whole point of selective breeding to create something is to create something to a form that fits everyone wants. And the fact that so few do is where the price is. But if you start then taking another 10% and working with them with a knife and whatever to make another 10% fit that cat, is kind of,
it's a bit naughty, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's
a little deceitful, and it's ethically wrong.
Yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? I suppose at the end of the day, you'll have some farms that are just like, this is our product, this is what they're like. And you'll have the farms that will go, well, I've got a member of staff that will turn this, that for you. It's what it is. And in the market, we in this country see things massively different to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So in February, when I was there was most breeders have got a little tampering box, I called it. And like Rick says, you'll see one particular place I sat down for a good 45 minutes with their blade person, and I think the difference is someone that knows what they're doing against somebody that doesn't. He was removing a few stray scales, like to give the fish that extra 10%, like what Rick was saying. And for me, as long as you don't go too far, where you see in some places like Thailand and that, where they hack the fish to death to make them look completely different. I think that for us as Western world, where we have cruelty to animals, etc., like we don't accept that sort of behaviour. But over there they do, and you've got to also understand that, you know, what we think is right and what they think are right are worlds apart. So when you're in Japan, you are seeing you're seeing a place that provides fish globally. So, you know, not that I've seen, not where I've seen, it wasn't like to an extremity where there was half a fish left. What I've seen, it was literally straight scales done in the best possible way. And when it's about the knowledge of how to remove the scale, and if that scale that's getting removed is actually worth removing. And there was some in there that looked like, to me, if you took that one, it would look better. And it's like, nah, can't take that one because of this reason. You're like, wow, it's like you wouldn't have that knowledge what these guys have got. Then afterwards, right, I can imagine that, well, I know some of the fish that end up in our ponds over here on the more expensive side, they would have had a little bit of surgery time to time. and you wouldn't even know it's happened because they've then put them through that healing process. The scales have come back. There's no, that couple of odd little Benny scales that they've removed have grown back and changed what that fish looks like for the better. For us to look at, which means it then puts a lot of value on the fish, and therefore that fish that's got a lot of value will only go to people that can afford to, and generally would be into a very decent living accommodation. So actually it may even up the quality of its life rather than go into, and don't take this the wrong way, anybody, because we've all been guilty of it, to a pond like where a new person is learning and ends up losing a fish a year down the line. It could be that balance. So, should you really cut fish? No. And the trained eye in the koi show world, they will know.
Yeah, well, that was a question that Chris just brought up there. Is an imported koi that has been doctored allowed in UK shows? No. And if it's spotted and benched, it's disqualified. When benching, it's disqualified and not allowed to be within or part of the show.
There's also fish that are going through that journey in the koi show world. From toes eye all the way through. There's only a select amount of judges in the JSC, and these judges, whether they should or they shouldn't, they will know fish, and they will, certain fish they will look at and go, I remember that fish, like what we do. I remember fish, and if there is any doctoring, they will know it's happened before you've even turned a blade to it, because certain people I speak to, they have got a memory like a fucking elephant, man, and they will automatically know. The other thing is if you ever think of taking a blade to a fish that is in the koi show scene, YouTube is a great world now of being able to document your fish for you without you even realizing. So if you ever alter
that's a good point.
People can look back and see whether or not that pattern
your
has
fish is altered or changed.
So and it's there for reference. And if anybody that's competing against them people can see it, and they can provide that evidence, then unfortunately that fish will be disqualified for life because it's been changed.
And again, I will just recap on what I'm saying. You're missing my point. The point I'm making or trying to make is there is zero difference between the removal of a scale for a sick fish and the removal of a scale on a healthy fish. The scale is being removed under the same procedure. That's all I'm meaning. Not that it's right or it's wrong.
Something, Gaz, that's a little, you could be a little bit off there, because if you're removing
scale to be able to get to the root cause of an infection.
The procedure is not the same, though, mate. Honest to God, right? When we meet up next, I'll show you some videos I've got.
Yeah, I've watched one or two. And I'm just meaning, all right, it's not identical, but I mean, cool. A scale to be taken out. I know how they do it, how they remove. But like Lee's saying there, I mean, this I would agree with Lee. I mean, is it okay to remove a shimmy?
But again, so shimmies are very strange things, because some shimmies can be so deep that if you try and remove it, you'll end up fucking that fish up.
Yeah.
But some shimmies, believe it or not, are just sat on the top of the skin. Yeah. And you could scratch it off with a nail.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
on their own. You don't have to do anything.
What's the viewer's opinion on that? With that question there, is it all right to remove a shimmy? What do you think to that? Would you remove a shimmy on your fish if you had one? Just curious, just as to what you think.
I would see if it's on the top of the fish. If it is, little scrape.
The majority of them are deeply embedded, and that's the problem. You've got to go through skin, scalp, and but you do get the odd one that is quite near the surface, and yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? The only reason you remove it is, and you think if you're going to take it to a show, but you start digging around for a show, you're going to risk damaging the penny and have an area that looks like you've been interfering. So, yeah.
You know, one of the recent shows that I went to, there was a couple of fish that I sent off for my own knowledge of whether or not they've been doctored.
Yeah.
Because to me, there was one in particular fish, I'm going to name it, there's no need to, I really thought may have been under the knife, right, at an early age, just because of the way the keywell was sat was so perfect and a little bit weird in places. And it come back, that is exactly how that fish come to the UK, not been doctored at all. You know, so you can get them, but it's very difficult. But it's also something that I'll probably bring up later, which is the standard of fish, you know, that we show and having an understanding.
Yeah, would that still come in? And I will get back to yours a bit there, Lorraine, as well. So if a shimmy was removed from a show koi, would that make it disqualified? Technically, I reckon it would, wouldn't it?
Technically, you probably wouldn't show a koi that had shimmies.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I suppose there is.
If you've removed it, and that's the problem. If you've removed it, it's noticeable, then you can see something's happened. But if you removed it and there's nothing obvious, then who's going to know how to shimmy
in the first place before you put it in? Yeah. If you'd already been shown once before and it got a shimmy and then it went back year after and it got no shimmy, then obviously that's going to be more than obvious. I've removed shimmy on a fish. It was very simple, really, really simple. Just literally scraped off with my fingernail. We're gone. But that was literally sat on top, sat on the surface. Tony's put in there, removing a healthy scale versus removing an infected scale for the good of a koi is a completely different thing. The first needed, and the second, and then he's put it back in there. Infected scales come away easily. Not always, mate, they don't. I've seen them where they're quite deeply rooted in that too, and they're difficult to remove. And to say that healthy scales don't come out easily, how many times have you removed a scale off a fish just catching it in a net? Because we all have. So they do come out easy.
Like an ingrown one, didn't we, on that Kahaku?
Yeah, that's
a bugger to get out.
The Kahaku had got one, and it was in and kind of twisted and broke. It weird, didn't it? But it was literally, it looked proper weird out. It just like it knocked it, but it had healed. But it looked strange, and then it looked a little bit inflamed around it. And we thought that, it'd just pop out a piece of cake. And it didn't pop out a piece of cake, but it had to come out, and then we give it a clean in there and put it back in. Within 2 or 3 days, all the redness had gone and everything, hadn't it? And it looked bob off.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, the scale grows back perfectly normal. As a question of such, how long does it roughly take for a scale to grow back?
Depends on the age of the fish. And the temperature.
Depends on the age of the fish.
The size of the scale, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously, a young fish at a high temperature, insanely quickly. But an older fish, an old fish at the lower temperature take years. So that's the thing about scale, isn't it? So a natural scale will be ringed with each year of growth if it goes through cycles of growth. But then that's not happening more. A lot of people grow fish continually, so you haven't got those things of growth for season to season. It's still age and temperature related.
It's the same as the hoppers. They heal really fast in hot weather, don't they?
Yeah. The warmer it is, the quicker they metabolize and the quicker they grow. Actually, quicker they grow scales. But yeah, it's in Deutschfish a nightmare for banging scales. They half hang off and then look a bit manky, and you think, do you not? I think the thing with koi shows and stuff is not so much removal of a scale; it is doctoring a pattern, physically changing the show appearance of a fish for all the benefit of a show. It's not removing a dodgy scale or shimmies. Yeah, you shouldn't really be digging about, but if you're that way inclined, but most of them are so deeply embedded, the damage you're going to do to the belly is not worth it.
Just for example, if something has been, like, let's say if you're taking a rogue scale out, and then you start, that scale grows back and you start feeding colour food. Does a scale revert back at a later date? If so, then it's pointless suffering for the fish for a quick buck. Or will they stay exactly as they are and grow back without the colour?
So I missed the first bit of that because people in
the scales revert back to what it originally was at a later date. Like you say, if they remove a bit of secondary benny on a cheek plate or on a gill plate, we quite often hear of people that said, "Oh, well, I've had secondary benny come back up on a fish when they've got it home. They've had it for 12 months, and then they start feeding a bit of colour food, and you see secondary benny coming back up." More than likely, is that more than likely something that's happened where it's been removed originally and then it's come back because they've been feeding a bit of colour and it's reverted back to what it was again.
Possibly, but the whole scale thing is you're not normally, if you're taking out any something it's like a live pigment in it. If you damage it or take it away, normally it's like if you damage benny on a fish in an area, you scrape its head, accidentally netting it. That sort of area tends to stay for a long time. It doesn't. That benny pigment struggles to. It doesn't come back. If you take a scale out, it's got benny in it. It generally will regrow back out white. That's the point.
Right.
So
it can be a permanent fix.
You can change, or if you've got a sang that's got one or two scales off the back of the pattern where it's they're away from the main pattern, by removing those, quite often the new scale will cover up the benny underneath, but you get a white scale. So yes, it can be long-term beneficial for the look of that fish.
And that's the skill.
Depends on how much you same sort of thing.
That's the skills of the Jap. Like when I sat with a guy in Japan, mate, that's the skills that they look at when they're taking them scales out. They know which ones are worth taking and which ones aren't. And they inspect the scale first.
That's a skill in itself. But obviously, if you do it to sound like a jaguar, you damage a jaguar, generally the scale's going to come back a different colour.
Yeah.
Scale, that fish is ruined. Because you need that perfect colour, the whole image. You just damage one bit or take out a scale that suddenly comes out a slightly different shade of colour.
Yeah, I know when my chag bumped its head, it kind of grazed the top of its head and it pulled that colour out. It kind of pulled the colour off its head, and it was gone for at least 8-9 months before that colour come back the same, so it wasn't noticeable. Same with when it had the nose rub, of me transporting it back in the car, being positioned in the car wrong. Its nose, that took nearly 12 months for that black patch on its nose to disappear.
Has that gone though, Gaz? Or is
Yeah,
it still there?
No,
I've got a Momotaro chag, and it looks like it's got a thumbprint, like someone picked it up heavily. It wasn't. It did get damaged. This is one from Mick, or Mick's brother.
Yeah.
Even now, it's still exactly the same. It's got that black thumbprint on its shoulder. It won't go.
Well, either I was really lucky, Daz. The nose rub took nearly 12 months to go, and then it came back perfectly normal colour. And then whilst we were shifting stuff around, when we did the pond build, the chag scraped its head. And when it scraped its head, I'm guessing it must have done it on one of the plant pots that were in there when we were going to try to put the plants back in.
Yeah.
When we put it back into the main pond, it had a bit of a graze on its head. And it had only just skimmed it, but it pulled the colour. There were a difference in colour. And after about 3-4 months, maybe 6 months or so, that's gone back to being completely normal. You can't see where it was. I was lucky, but I know the one that you mean, and yours has definitely got a darker patch on it, which is darker in colour.
Yeah. Almost black. It almost looks like a charge jag now.
Well, that's normally a demerit if you're grading them and they've got dark patches or damage areas. That just ruins them basically forever. They just have that.
Yeah,
the dark patches. So there's different fish. Different. Zoomies different to Benny. Different. Yeah. I think the main work is done on removing from Sankey, Showas, Kahaku where you don't want it.
Yeah.
Tony says, not surprised, guys, at your koi healing times in your temperatures. Well, I'll give you an example, Tony, where it kind of throws it all out of the window. I netted up my chag 2.5 months ago, to do a scrapes because I thought I'd got problems again, parasite wise. And netting up my chag, I split the lead ray off the chag's peck, and I split it down a good length, that length right down the peck, fully healed back up completely. Never did anything with it, didn't touch it, never did out with it, fully healed back completely. Peck's just as it was, and it only took maybe a month and a half. But then again, I've got a shower that we did, Daz. Remember when we brought the shower out the pond, when we did the pond build, and it's because they were thrashing around like nutters in there, weren't we? So eventually we lifted plants out to get them out, and that one split its tail and split both its peck fins, and they've still got about that much left to go, and that's nearly 12 months now, and it's a shy fish anyway. But
well, I've got a goldfish in the tank here, and it spawns every 2 weeks without fail. And every time it's spawned, its tail is in tatters. Within a week, you can't tell any difference. It's like brand new again. I can't believe how fast it heals up. I mean, these are full.
Heat makes a massive difference.
Full length of the tail.
Yeah, heat makes a massive difference.
Yeah. Split fins and stuff are different fish. Yeah, if it's split right to the bottom, and you get
it didn't go all the way down, Rick, but that I will look at.
On a young fish.
Hang about. Just bear with Rick. Bear with us 1 second. Can everybody else hear him? He's breaking in and out for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do us. If you could do us. If you just drop off and come back in again, because I don't want people to miss the information. Oh, this is a bit now, and he's going to leave the studio to come back to the studio. They'll know he says goodbye to us all. End it showing you like, you're breaking up a little bit unless your internet's. I always say this to him. I know there's the red X at the bottom of your screen. Try see if we can get you reconnected with a better connection. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll come back and it'll be a little bit clearer and a little bit better for us. Quickly, then, while he is away, we can touch on this one. What are your thoughts on butterfly koi? I'm on the fence, unsure whether to add to the collection. Any known problems, or just the same as koi? No problems, Claude. You can put them in with your koi. Won't have an ounce of issue at all. If anything, your butterfly koi, because they've got longer strangly fins, they tend to show problems when you've got high levels of ammonia and nitrate in your pond by becoming blood red running through the fins. They're more of an identifying fish. So they will show you if you've got problems quicker than your koi do. But you won't have any problems with them being kept with your normal koi at all, mate. No issues. You might get the odd one of your other pecks, so your other fish that might nibble a little bit at its pecks and tails because they're a bit more floaty and a bit more fancy. But you shouldn't have any issues that way. My thoughts on them, I think they're quite beautiful, mate, to be fair. The right ones. Some of them look a bit scruffy.
Exactly. Certain varieties, especially the Puricina type, I think they're absolutely amazing. Single colours. When you've got things like Sankey butterfly koi, to me that doesn't look right, and Shisui, it just doesn't look right. For me personally, single colours is the way.
Single colours look good, don't they?
Yeah.
But each to their own. Go on, Kraft, what do you think?
No, they've got a place. People like them. They're a very good seller.
Popular.
I think, personally, you have to look at 2 years' time. I say that about everything that I think about 2 years' time, because some fish, especially in the butterfly or long fin region, because they come in different, their fins are different. You can
the long
really long fins,
totally different, aren't they?
You know, and you can get some that look like twiglets with a little bit of fin on them. Right, so when you're selecting it out, depending on what look you're going for, whether you want a long fin or a very long sort of wavy sort of fin, which look really good on the Paracina.
Yeah, they do. They look stunning, don't they?
Or a Ginmatsuba or something like that. I think they're the ones that if you look in 2 years' time, their fins will continually grow along with the body. So that's excellent. But the problem that you have is keeping them in good nick because they've been split so easily. when you're looking at your butterfly, look at something called dragon koi as well, because I think the Japanese like to split what they call a dragon koi, which is the ones with the big, long, wavy fins.
Yeah.
And if you go in, I would wait for the new season for butterfly koi, because that's when you will get all the best ones.
Yeah.
And am I right in assuming that the butterfly koi is not even Japanese, it's Chinese? I'm sure it is.
Well, there's a very good Japanese breeder that does nothing but butterfly koi.
Traditionally, they came from China.
Number of
They were
barbels.
Chinese started.
One's got 2, one's got 4 or something. The China's against the Japanese.
It wouldn't surprise me if they got doctored in China. I don't know the answer to that, mate. I've never really looked that far back, if I'm honest.
Am I back?
You're
You
back.
are.
You are back and you're clearer. That sounded better then. All for fingers crossed.
It's trying to record me, apparently.
What was that?
I've been recording all my things or something.
You're recording? Oh,
Yeah.
oh you don't. You press something. Maybe that.
Apparently, so.
Vince says they're abominations. Each to their own. I mean, it's the
They're
same
not
as all.
abominations, are they? They're not, are they?
What are you
They're a
talking about?
different variety of fish, man.
Yeah.
It's like,
You get them in all different fish, long fins. It's not just koi.
So it's,
yes.
you can have a
Has
measuring jug.
Dad not got any
Yes.
cups? Has he not done the washing up?
There's a cup shortage.
I suppose it's like the same with koi. Everybody's got the favorite type of koi, and there are certain types of koi that people don't like. So, I mean, Vince doesn't like Sankeys, but yet now he's got 2 of them in his pond. So you can easily be changed, and you can easily have your opinions manipulated to enjoy something at different times throughout our keeping hobby.
Peer pressure's a twat, mate. In the koi
It is, isn't
world,
Great,
in
isn't
the
it?
koi world, there will be people out there that like Vince that say butterfly koi are abominations. But it depends what you want in your pond. If you want something because you like the looks of it, put it in there, man. That's the whole point. Don't be pushed into an area where, you know, just because someone else says they don't like it, you don't have it, because that's silly. You should if you like them, buy them.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to get the enjoyment out of it.
Personally, I think a pond full of single-coloured butterfly koi would look amazing. No other koi in there, just the butterflies.
But butterfly koi look good up to a point until
Yeah.
they go all ranky.
Yeah.
When they get really old, they do. Yeah. Lots of things.
I'm going to just correct myself, but because Marco put in America, they didn't. They actually originated in where did you say? When I just see that?
Asia or somewhere.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
In the early 1980s, and then a company in New York took the interest and brought the fish to the US and sold them. So that's how it got to the US. Originally, they are from Indonesia in 1980. There we go. I thought it was China where they originally. But is that the long fin then, not the butterfly? Because they do a long fin, don't they?
But this is the thing, isn't it? Does it really matter where they come from? If you like them, buy them.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Tamasaba. Oh, Tony's just put there. It's like Tamasaba, same thing.
I'd
I mean-
definitely go with a Japanese one though over the others. They've got Suda. His fish for butterfly are fantastic fish. You know, it's just again 2 or 3 years time. That's what you got to picture what that fish will look like then.
Yeah.
There we go. If we all kept the same koi, it would be a dull hobby. The variety is the interesting part.
Mm.
You know,
It is, isn't it? A lot of people like to say top end. A lot of people that get into the hobby really like go Sankey, don't they? It's just that's where the top end stuff is.
that's
Yeah.
mad, isn't it, mate? Because you're right. You're right, mate. You're so right, aren't you? I think most people start in the koi world with a love for all the unusual shiny metallics, different ones, etc. Deutz, blah blah blah, and then eventually they end up. Not everyone, most people will end up down that Go Sankey route, and Sankey being, or Tonke, depending where you're from, being the fish that they like.
Well, why do you think that is, Crafty? Do you think that's down to the technicality of the Go Sankey?
Yeah. For me personally, yeah. And
Yeah.
what Rick says.
There's not many koi you can keep for 10 years, and at 10 years go, wow, that's actually the best it's ever been. Normally, most other varieties are like, oh, God, I didn't look like that when I bought it.
That's where it's took me. Like, you know, I was never a lover of kahaku. I'm gonna lie, I thought what a boring fish. But then when you then start learning technicalities and realizing how to get a very good pattern with like all the ticks in the boxes in the right places is so difficult. But then it can be achieved easier with a 2-step. And then when you start going into 5-step or flowery patterns, then you realize that when you get a good one, fuck me, that is an amazing feat. You know, to get like a 5-step pattern where the belly plate remains the same, the sash is tight, all of the kiwa is in the right places, the shiroji as well, the fish is in a good proportion, good body in it, good fin. Wow, that is just so hard to achieve. So when you see it, you appreciate it a lot more.
So this one then will lead straight into the next one. Question for the panel: have you got a favourite koi, stroke variety, and why?
There you go. Start you guys.
Start with me.
Who you ask? Yeah, who we could.
Well, I'll go first.
Time.
I'll go first. My favourite variety is the Yamabuki Ogon, and the reason why is because when my dad first took me to my first koi shop when I was a kid, I saw one in there that were nearly as big as me, and that were it. I were like, man, that is stunning. It's unbelievable. So that distracted me then. So that's my favourite fish, and that's my favourite type of koi.
I was laughing at Alan Tate's comment. Mate. Sorry.
Yeah, me too, mate. That's why I paused. Trying to educate Crafty on Go Sankey almost did my head in. But yeah, that's my favourite. The Yamabuki Ogon is, and I've always liked him ever since being, I don't know, maybe 8-9 year old. My father took me around our local place. So
my favourite, Sankey. I just love the mixture of the orange, the white, and the sumi. I'm not so keen on shower. I don't know why, but yeah, Sankey float my boat. I just really like them.
That's got.
I
will.
Sorry,
mine changes weekly. I think.
What's changing weekly?
Yeah, those sort of Alec Crashigoi keeping Ocho a minute. They're magic. Look, they do look. Normally Sankey normally are the best, but yeah, outside the box, something, yeah, give me an Aragoki type.
Yeah,
mate, some of them are mental, and they've all been stolen. Got none left.
There's ponds full of them.
We managed to bump a price up for you, mate, didn't we?
They've gone.
They're gone.
Go
on then, Craft. Yours.
Mine's Sankey through and through, mate. Through and through. Why? Just trying to work out how they're going to turn out and how that pattern is going to work. It's so difficult, and it's a waiting game.
Well, yeah.
I've got 2 fish that I put in my pond. One from Taniguchi, where the sumi was sat under the skin, very unbalanced, but it looked like it had some on the opposite flank, but it was it was a risk. Now that sumi's up in the skin, but it's not broken fucking through, right? So it's just sat below the skin, and it's like will I be able to raise that? And I'm learning myself. There's things that I've been looking at for my own personal self and my own knowledge. Something about enzymes in water and
you're saying that.
on Sumi. All right, so I'm gonna try something new to see whether or not I can push that Sumi to come through, just so for my own benefit. It will make that fish look fucking amazing. The other one is a fish that I got from Takano, and it actually looked like a kahaku, a 3-step kahaku. Had a mental body, and step 1 and step 2 were fused together by underlying sashi. And I wanted to see, as that fish grown, what would happen with that type of benny plate, whether it would separate, whether it wouldn't, etc. And I was on the phone to Alan Tate the other day, actually, showing him a couple of the fish. And I don't put the net in my pond very often. Right? And I pulled up the Takano Sankey, and I was like, oh, fuck me, shimmies are coming up. And then it dawned on me, there's like 4 little tiny black spots just come up onto the skin. Now, they could be shimmies, but the chances are, because they're from a Sankey,
could be the start of the Sumi coming up.
It could be the start. Now he's 2 years old. So, I wanted to see what the development of that would be, and whether or not it would stay a kahaku or turn into a Sankey, or whether it'd just be a kahaku with lots of shimmies. So, again, it's not having that, not having, it's about seeing where your predictions lead you and learning from it. So much to learn in a Sankey, it's unreal.
See, Scotty P's putting here. I was saying to Vince, my one regret from Koi Tuberfest is not getting the Sankey as well. I told you. Oh, God damn it, man.
You should always go away from a shop with odd numbers.
Yeah, that's it. The 2 shower, you were right, guys. I should have got all 3. I said it would perfectly accompany the 2 showers, mate. It were a banger, wasn't it, that? But unfortunately, I sold it anyway, mate, so it's gone. I sold it to somebody else slightly later. But you did get 2 very nice shower, though, mate. They were a really good shower. I do think that the shower rig that you had there, those Deutsch shower, they were banging, mate. They were really, mate. I like a Deutsch shower. I've got 2 scaled or Wagoi showers, and I ain't too keen on one of them. But that's my fish like you crafted. I bought it for I didn't buy it. I got it as part of my grow for a reason. I wanted to see if that would progress the way I thought it would, and as it happens, up to press, it's not really changed a great deal from what it was. The 3-step kahaku pattern that it had, and wanted to see how the Sumi developed on it. And the Sumi's there, but it's just not coming up. But the full body's colour of the fish is a bit washed out. I'm hoping now that, come next year with a bit of colour food into it, it might smarten it up a little bit. Or the next sample to test it with is send it around to my dad's, put it in his pond of green water and see what it does. See if it becomes better in there, and then maybe nick it back if it does. Do a bit of Indian giving. But I do prefer like a Deutsch, the Deutsch showers. I do prefer a Deutsch in anything, to be fair.
It's definitely hard with showers, though, because so many people pick nice, too much Benny on them when they're small. They look really pretty, but there's no room to see the Sumi come up. So the best, especially the Deutsch ones, they've got really sparse, especially when they go Nisa, they're literally almost a white fish with a very sparse red spots, and they don't look very good. But the Sumi comes up round, and they just suddenly blossom into some fish. But you need plenty of white to come up on, otherwise you end up.
That's the thing with the Sankey change so much, don't they? That I can totally get why Daz likes them. I weren't a fan of them beforehand, but I am more so now. And again, probably the Garomo as well. I'm becoming more of a fan of the Garomo too. But again, the fish, your tastes change, don't they, throughout the keeping of what you've got and what you've got. I do like a single colour as well, but yeah, it's mad.
See, I'm like Rick, man. It's like I appreciate so many, It's hard to have a favourite.
I'm kind of. I mean, yammies have been since I was a nipper because I was blown away when I saw that one. I've always liked it, and I do think a koi pond, is lost not having yellow in it, especially when it's a good sized fish because they just look wow. It's the first fish you spot nearly every time.
Yeah,
That
yellow
bright,
summer.
yeah, that bright, vibrant yellow coming up, and when it flicks the pecks back and you get that flash underneath, you think, "That looks sweet," does that? But yeah, I suppose, yeah, that would definitely still. I think it'll probably always hold a place for me. That the Yamabuki. But again, the more you get into it, the more you can appreciate it. The more that you start saying, and I didn't really know as much as what I probably do now about the Sankey that I picked. But watching it, how you've said, you watch how the sumi comes up in little spaces, and you think, "Ooh, that's got another little patch of sumi there that it never had before," which has developed this year into a full-on, 10 pence sized piece. And you think, now you're actually starting to look quite good to say I bought you a tiddler.
Bearing in mind, if you certain fish like the Sankey, mate, you've got to look at 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah. A long haul.
Yeah. Too many people get dragged into the look at that one's got a better pattern than that one. Well, actually, you're so wrong. It looks like a better pattern now, but the pattern that's coming on that one is going to smash that one out of the water.
Yeah, it was really interesting with the bit that we did of the grading at this weekend. With the stuff that when we were doing the Shuru series, Rick were like saying, "Look,
that was an eye opener, really was."
You were holding this fish in his, I can't turn my hand enough, but holding his tiny little fish in his hand, going, "That's an absolute banger. That is what that fish will look like as it gets older. But all this is going to change. But that's what it's going to look like." So you can see the start of the fish's journey, and you can see the underlying pattern, which will recede back like the NND was crafty, you know what I mean? And you can see the underlying, and then it's going to come back, and then it'll switch and it'll change. And when we've gone through like pictures of Shuru series and how they've progressed over from toe side to knee side to yon side, and then you think, wow, look at that fish now. Look how the sumi shifts around and patterns change. Memoir comes through on the head, and then you're left with a fish that looks like, ta-da, look at that. And it's amazing. And Rick was saying to us, like, at the weekend, this is what it'll be. This is what you'll see. All this will come back and then do what it does throughout the years. But that's what you want to be looking for. The skin luster, the shine, the underlying sumi, a good telltale that I've got a bright patch of sumi on it that's really dark, really deep, vibrant, inky black, which is showing what it's going to be when it comes. And all that kind of stuff, to pick up that kind of information while we were there was wicked to do that, because we weren't all that au fait what we were really doing with the Shuru series, but now you've got more of an idea, Daz, when you're looking at your own stuff, aren't you, what you need to be.
Absolutely.
Weak sumi and
exactly. The weak sumi and the weak luster of the fish in itself. You can see the difference, couldn't you, Daz? When you put them side by side, they were like chalk and cheese. But most people would look at that and think, that's two really good patterns. But,
yeah. And on the face of it, the sumi looks similar, but when you look, and you can see the sort of the fukrin between the scales compared to the inky black sumi.
Yeah,
the massive difference.
Yeah. It was exciting.
Down to your place, Rick, for a bit of work experience, mate.
Oh, you might as well just
you as well. Across the line.
That's fine.
through the week.
Yeah, for a full week.
Yeah, that's
a shame not to go. We did some good stuff. The Shiro Sunday. You see them that age, you can see the terry, and you can see the skin quality, you can see the shine, you can see. Going for Shiros, these two were like, oh, look at that one, but they're seeing a fish that's showing itself today, quality, and then you show them one that's looks like a shiny white fish with a little bit deep satsumi and whatever, and you go, this is what you want, and the realization starts to dawn. You can see it, and they go, well, yeah, and before it starts, you can leave them to it. Although I'm going to have words with Dad because some fish in my Munga tunnel. I don't know why.
They weren't for me, no. They were definitely cancers.
Yeah, it's that, certain things will change in fish and certain things won't. You know, the body, the bone structure and the skin quality are there to be seen. If you know what you're looking for, they're there. They don't change. But the pattern and the way the colours come up does change. So most people just see the pattern and colours straight away, and that's what they go for, regardless of the quality of those individual bits. It's difficult. It's easier to just put a load of fish in a bowl and say, you pick what you think's the best, and then you show them what technically is the best, explain why, and suddenly it's a learning thing. Some people get it, struggle, but yeah.
It was mad to see, you know how you can get like a roving pattern on an achiever. Well, the ones that were no good had like a bright outline to the outer of the scale, but dull to the inside of the scale. Whereas the ones that were really good was just solid throughout the full scale in every little pattern patch. And it was mad to sit there looking at them, be able to see them think, my God, now you can really see a difference. And that fish is dull. This fish is bright and vibrant. The Saroji's got a bit of a sheen to it and a bit of a gleam, like it's almost had a bit of a polish up first before it got put in bowl. And then you could notice the difference. But first of all, you were looking at him thinking, well, that looks like he's got a good underlying pattern. But really, it wasn't, because it was translucent. Cool.
Yeah. Good to me is like almost, it's 3D. It cuts through.
Yeah,
you can see it. It's there. You can't even see the scales in it. It's just chunk.
Yeah, that
same with, almost the same with Benny, but it's that skin luster. If you haven't got the shine to the skin, then that fish is never going to have that. Good quality about it straight away, and it's really hard to explain to people. But I think like Ezra gets it. He's seen it early, and he can pick fish out of a tread. That's good. Without really. He doesn't know why it's good, but he's known why I picked some.
Yeah.
That's got what we're looking for. So, yeah, without seeing those fish, you develop. It is.
Can you see that bit on your screen that says you're recording? If you can see that bit on your screen that says you're recording, just press stop recording, just in case it's your process.
I don't think so. Top right hand corner, Rick. If it's recording, it'll say at the top right corner, mate.
I think I got a shot of it. Maybe
because you're still breaking up a little bit, mate. You're coming. People saying that they can hardly hear you, and you are Rick upgraded from dial up.
I'm going to send you a USB microphone, Rick. I think.
No, it's giving me a record currently, but yeah, it's not. I don't know what it's.
As long as I would just mean it, because sometimes if your processor's not powerful enough, you can end up with. It might be a case of, Rick, that you might have to give your internet a restart. You might be your router might be short on update because you're getting a little bit of like that on. Yeah,
I'm joking. Yeah. Let me reboot it again.
Do you know how to
try
do it?
It's trying to do something recording. What's that doing? Hang on.
He's a good-looking fella, our Rick, isn't he?
Especially when he gets in close.
Yeah.
Yes. Got a bit of a blue sheen to him tonight.
He has, yeah.
It's the new mega.
Bit of a blue rinse going on.
Yeah.
No, I don't know where the microphone is in the computer, to be fair.
It's a little black hole next to your camera, mate.
Little black hole. Probably got some belly. Hang on. I'll drop out. I'll try and come back on a different.
See if you can just restart your router. Wherever your router is, unplug it and then plug it back in again. Just make sure you leave it off for about 30 seconds beforehand, because you've probably never ever done that in your lifetime, have you?
Mrs. is streaming on OnlyFans, mate. That's what it is.
She was hearing it, dinner, mate. Scraping the plow round a minute ago.
Do you mean?
Bear with me. I will leave you. No, I won't. I will leave you. I will be back.
Do it your usual way, how you'd normally go, because there we go. Hopefully we'll get him back in. See if we can get him with a better connection, because normally we can always hear Rick, and the information that he gives out is too good to miss. The weather was shocking, mate. But in fact, no, I'm lying. It wasn't shocking. It weren't bad at all. When we'd done on the event day, we went down to sit by the lake. We set ourselves up. We got his gear out and we started fishing a little bit. We got a little bit of a campfire going. Rick came with some pizzas. We had pizza. We all just got his pizzas down his neck. And then all of a sudden it started light raining. And then that light rain turned into torrential rain. And by 8:30, we were all in his freaking tents, hiding from rain. And then it never stopped. We got a break about 11:30. I got a run about 11:45. I missed it. By the time I got my shoes and my boots on, got outside.
What are you on about? You fucking sat right on the rod.
Yeah, but he was lashing it down, so we all went and got in his tents because
put me brolly up.
I managed to catch one crafty.
I've seen it, mate. Because Gaz was actually filming it. How big was that tent? Was big, mate.
That was a big tent. It'd have been £3.5 at least. That.
Yeah. I thought it looked bigger.
It was long and slender. It was. I think it was more of a male than a female. What a heavy set one. But it came in like a
wet bag.
Yeah,
it went. And then it started to fight when it right on the rod tip.
What I will say though is you should have landed that rather than beaching it.
Well, Gaz says, "Oh, you don't need to get net for that."
I would have landed that all day long.
Beach it. It went mental. Then I couldn't grab hold of it.
I would have just brought it up to the side of that little piece of wood and just flicked hook out. I'd have just done it in water's edge, but it came in that quick, like it just went, just give up. And then when it got there and he bent down to get it, it just went mad. Woof, it were off. So we did net it up afterwards. We did.
What I always think is, if that was my fish, would I swing it in? Would I beach it?
Oh God, no! There'd been no swinging in on that.
Swinging in would have snapped my line.
That's what's on the end of your line? Would I swing it in if it was my fish? No, I'd net that. Yeah. Just for the best.
It's not going to be a personal best or anything. Crafty.
No, I know, but it's just for the health of the fish, mate. You know.
Yeah.
Fucking big ass bit of metal stuck through its face, man.
It's listening to Gaz. Oh, you'll be all right. Beach it.
I know. He's a northerner, mate, tight, and he didn't want to get the nets wet.
Don't blame me.
Exactly.
Nothing was caught night one. Nothing at all. There was 9 people. Sorry, 9 or 8 rods out on night 1, and not one single fish caught. Not even a single run. Night 2, Daz got attention, then I got a run. It's like 12:30 in the morning. And I missed it. So I don't think there's any fish in there.
He was trying to sabotage my lines. It went straight through both my rods.
Did actually. Actually, I mean, I missed it, but I didn't miss it. In the sense of, I got a little beep beep. So I put my shoes on, went outside, and it did another little one beep. And I thought, ooh. So I sat there for 3/4 of an hour outside tent waiting for it, thinking, come on, go for it. You got to go. And when I got up in the morning, the line was right in the shallows, right close to his tent. So it swum to us, which obviously took up the slack line and just ran to us, so it didn't set the beepers off because it came forward to us rather than away from us.
It obviously knew what it was doing.
It did, it knew. But
I had to go in to sort of problem out at work.
Yeah.
So the indoor main pond that we've got, and this happens to anyone. So during the day, they found a parasite in the pond, so it's treating, and as they was administering or measuring out, a customer asked a question, and then it threw the calculation, so they ended up almost doing a triple dose rather than the right dose of aquaflavin. So that went in the water, and immediately the fish were like, this ain't fucking good. So they had to do a bit of an emergency let's say, water change, because bit of Popeye started to appear. So I've had to, on the Sunday morning, I knew that there was a problem in a pond, but they missed out it was our expensive koi pond. So when I got in on the Sunday, it was like, holy fuck. Right, here we go. This is what we do. So happens to us all, you know.
Yeah. I suppose easily done though, mate. If somebody's come and distracted them while they were doing what they were doing, but what they should have done is said, "You're gonna have to find another member of staff at present. I'm
but the thing is, mate, when people stand there pouring on and talking to you while you're doing it, you know, it's a little bit difficult, you know. So, but they learn a lesson. It's like the fish are all in good health now; they're back to normal. So, but I'm glad I was there to deal with it. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
Scotty says, I'm heading over tomorrow to New Forest Koi. Decision made. After all, just being told I need to make it an odd number. Yes, that is one thing. You should always have an odd number in your pond.
Right, I want 20% commission for that.
Yeah, true though. That's the Japanese tradition says it should be an odd number in your pond. Always be an odd number.
And a blackfish.
And a blackfish, yeah. The blackfish is to soak up all the evil spirits and the evil judo for the those that believe in that kind of thing. That's what they do. How they have it. Let's have a quick look through. Make sure I've not.
There was one question.
Question for Rick.
No, there was one.
We'll ask you when he gets back, mate. Quick question. Coppens make a fish meal-based growth food. We'll ask him when he gets back for you, mate.
They do. I've already answered, but yeah. There's one from a guy called Lee. How do you treat a raised scale?
There was, yes, yeah. I did see that. How do you treat a raised scale? Well, I know how I've treated one once and it worked a treat, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way. I mean, I was more under the impression of shit a bust. If I'd got a cluster of raised scales on a fish and I just get a PP bath, and it was quite a strong dose of PP bath, and I only give it like for 7 minutes, a strong dose, and then banged it back in the pond. 2 days later, raised scales gone.
I think
that's just what I did.
It's such a generalized question. I think the first things first is you've got to have an understanding of why you've got a raised scale or a group of raised scales. You know, is it from, you know, so sometimes it just comes from a fish knocking itself and having a dislodged scale that hasn't removed itself, and it causes a bit of inflammatory behavior in the skin, which is really quite easy to treat when you remove the dead scale and a little bit of a spray of Tamidine. If it's extreme and it's not just a small area and it's actually all the fish, and you get your pine cone in, that's a completely different kettle of fish, you know. Yeah. So you have to look, but mainly antibacterial spray is the way ahead. You know, it's like putting Germaline on a cut. That's the way I like to explain it to the guys that come in. Oh, how'd you do it? It's just see it as just a topical treatment where, like, was you down there when I'd done the yellow monkey? Was you there then? So Tony Farmore was down. So when the yellow monkey in the main pond decided it wanted to have a leap of faith, knocked itself, little bit of a graze on its shoulders, and all you simply do there, just clean it out with a bit of antibac, make sure there's like nothing underlying, i.e. sort of like any infection building up in the skin, and all you simply do with that is little bit of ointment on an earbud under the scale, bit of topical treatment like propolis, and if it's any little open wound, put some skin sealant on, put it back in and leave it, and believe it or not, within 4 days that fish was back to normal, and that had raised scales as well from it. So yeah, again, it all depends what you're treating. Looks like it's knocked it. So Lee, what I'd do, mate, if he's knocked it, I'd put it under a sedate. All right, get yourself some tweezers, and then just really lightly pull on a couple of the scales around the race scale area to see if anything moves really easily. Because if it's knocked it, and he has dislodged the scale, that scale will come like that. It just come out. It's dead easy to know whether it's deep set or not, because the movement is so easy. If there's nothing, jobs are good, and if there is something that comes out, it'll come out, and that's again jobs are good. Get some anti-back on the end of the thing, get it under the scales, bit of topical treatment over the top, and if there's no open wounds, that's all you need to do. All right, give it a good treatment, or iodine. That's another one that people like to use, and then put it back in. But then just monitor it like every 3 or 4 days. Just have a look. You'll find that race scales will retract really quickly if you hit the nail on the head.
Iodine's really good craft, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, that is a treatment for that. It cleans and preps, and it's also an antibacterial.
Yep.
So iodine solution is a really good thing. You'll see them a lot where they'll find wild animals that might have had a cut or a damage. They'll give it a good flush out, give it a good clean, and then they'll spray it with that blue stuff. But that's basically just a form of iodine in a different colour. So it just stops infection, stops bacteria, keeps parasites and shit away from it because it creates a seal within it. I'm not so sure about the propolis. That's a seal.
Adhesive as well. That's another one, isn't it, that forms like a skin.
Yeah, the forming of a skin over the top of an infection to me sounds like a bad idea.
Not at all. What you've got to remember is, Gaz, that so the protective layer of a koi is its scale and skin.
Yeah.
Right. So all you're simply doing by doing that is you're trapping in any medication. Right, so you're keeping it in, because as soon as you put it back in the water,
are you also trapping in any infection?
No, because your medication's in there to treat the infection, isn't it? Okay, so it's best to do it than not do
it. And our Rick has changed. Are you ready?
Fuck me. Growth.
He's grown a deer outside of his head, and he has come with a different name.
Yeah, it's weird. I had somebody.
He got a bit worried then. He even moved it because he did think he had a deer growing out the side of his farm.
The only reason why I said that, Crafty, is because I've heard people say that before. You're trapping in the infection. You're sealing it from coming out. I'm not saying. I'm not saying it. I've never used neither. I've never.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm going to say it, and I'm going to do it. Touch wood. I've never had anything bad enough yet to have to do, other than that slight raise scale. And it was Daz that turned around and said, it was in the beginning times of all these bacterial infections that started going around, and Daz just turned around and said to me, "Get rid of it, Gaz. Don't chance it. Don't risk it." We panicked a little bit, and I said, "You know what, Daz? I'm going to whack in a real strong bottle, a strong dose of PP, and if it makes it, it makes it." And then that'll solve the problem of having to get rid of it. And I give it 7 or 8 minutes in there, and I thought, right, that's long enough. You're starting to look a bit brown. Let's get you out. 2 days later, bang on, completely gone. Pure coincidence, more than likely, but it cured the issue. That's the only one I've ever had with raised scales. I've never had anyone. The chag, when it scraped its head, and it literally did take a scrape. I just left it be. Never even touched it, and it healed naturally.
So how'd you deal with it on a Deutz fish, Gaz?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, you've got to look at all the eventualities on it, mate.
Yeah.
And that's where a fake skin, or skin sealer.
Basically, it's just like a plaster, isn't it? Then just to cover up what you put up there. Yeah.
The secret bidder, Matt. So what I will say is, mate.
No, it's just for you.
Have you sold that Shiro yet? That's what I want to know.
It sold at 5 o'clock this morning.
Mate, that should have flew out your doors fucking as soon as it come in.
I know. It'd been here for 3 months.
Wow.
And yeah, wow.
What was it? A Nisai?
Yeah, it was a Nisai.
How much did it go for?
295, I think it was. I know. There you go. It just doesn't make sense.
I knew I should, mate. I would have bought that off you.
Yeah.
He says that now, Matt. You've had it for 2 years.
Wow,
It is
yeah,
great.
that was an absolute stunning example, mate.
Ricky looks like he's just joined the wrong group.
AKA secret bidder is. That'll be more apparent on Friday when my video drops. I thought, do you know at first though? When someone in the background went, secret bidder. So I just turned around and looked and I seen you with a grin on your face and I thought, are you bidding? I just thought, sod it. Secret bidder.
Yeah, you have a look at Ricky's legs. He's got a load of bruises on there where I was kicking him. One more. One more.
It's all right. It's a new broodstock program.
Oh, fucking hell, man! You are as tight as arseholes, Matt.
Why?
You buy a fish, right?
And leave it
that
with
should
Ricky
have
to
gone
pay
for
for.
600 quid, half price, right? And then you make him keep it.
No, he's keeping it for his own ventures.
No, he's
that's-
definitely not. He said to us when you were like, I can't believe it. He's making me grow it on. And I can't keep it.
What do we talk about today, Ricky?
I don't know if I can mention that on air. What are we talking about? The new breed. No, the new breed. No, at the end of the day, a fish like that, I'm quite happy to keep. And if I breed from it, Matt gets first dibs on the fry I don't want.
Rejects.
Oh, I would have snatched your hand off, Rick.
That was a nice fish, that Matt. It was a very nice fish.
The only way I can make them commercially viable is by keeping a few to make the lineage more. I can't get the numbers. Yeah, I can't get the numbers as to where I'm producing them. I need some of them as parents to then get
increase those
viable numbers. Yeah, I need a few thousand a year rather than tens.
What was the parent set on them, Rick?
On that one is a Gimrin Asagi cross a Gimrin Krashigoi Ochiba, but they've both got Deutsch grandparents. So they're both Wagoi fish, and I'll get very few Aragoki offspring. So I need
mad though, that you get any at all.
But both lines have got Deutsch fishing. So the Asagi's got a Shishui parent, and the Krashigoi has got a Deutsch Krashigoi parent. So it's there in the genetics. I know it's in the genetics because they're my fish, but I need that offspring that shows that genetic trait to use as a parent.
So I'm your pimp.
Yeah, something
I
like
think you'll find that Rick's your pimp.
Oh, he has been for many years.
that.
Yeah, you got yourself a good fish there, and Rick produced a fucking good fish as well. I think that if you can stabilise that, mate, and get more, that's going to be quite a variety of fish off.
The problem at the minute, they're about 1 in 1,000. That kind of thing, which is a nightmare. I need to get that down to 1%, and then I can have enough of them.
Yeah.
But
well, I hope you do, mate, because I think
same with the Shisuis, mate. It's the same. It's about 1 in 1,000 at the minute, but the next generation will be better.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to see if I can find the fish so I can bring it up and show her.
It's on Rick's
Dainichi's website. He's asked me for one.
I'll tell you what. I'll forward it over to Fujio NND, mate, to ask his opinion on it. I'm still waiting to hear back. But he's not very quick. Oh, mate, his Tamasaba look banging, don't they, this year? Can't wait to get the mix on them.
Send it to you, Gar.
Oh, nice one. You got a picture of it. That's even better. That makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, I need to keep a copy of the picture just for my records, Rick.
To your records.
This is the fish that the secret bidder was bidding on.
Yeah, they are pretty immense.
Let's see if we can make it a bit. Something else, that mate. That's me.
Mate, I still think that fish was 600 quid all day long.
Yeah, me too. I reckon that the secret bidder should have gone way more than he did.
He didn't need to. He won it for less.
Go higher than
Yeah.
I didn't have the money, mate.
He did. Crafty did bid 600 on it, but nobody
Not
listened.
fucking never,
I've actually got you on video shouting 600.
What did it go for? 325?
330.
330, yeah. Yeah, 325 was all the spending money I had, mate. So
And Ryan had got 300 for it, and you just kept going. So he just kept bidding just to.
I have 325 quid in my wallet. That's what I bought for that fish. So.
Oh, we would have given you credit.
Matt will be laughing when we stabilise it. It'll probably take me next year. I can use it if it's male, and we got 50,000 of them. And he gets 2 back.
He don't deserve any. You just give him his parent fish back, mate. For the upkeep that you've got to give it, that pays. You know what I mean. All the sake that you're going to throw in.
Well, he's promised that he's going to get it to 70 cm by this time.
Absolutely not, mate. He has not promised that.
I can't roll it.
Maybe.
Size and everything. I know that.
I think it depends who you speak to on that front. If it's a koi judge, size is a lot to do with it.
Size is everything. Let's see if we can bring up one of his questions that we've got for this evening, then, so we can help one of them out. We've got 32 comments. We've got.
Am I sounding clearer, by the way?
Yeah,
it's perfect now, mate.
Clear.
Even your outfit change has worked too.
Yeah,
that must have been what it was. The Joker. Where
There's a
would
new
the
Joker
hobby
film
be
coming out, isn't there?
without koi shows?
Where would we be?
Where would the hobby be without koi shows?
I think it's an added part to the hobby, isn't it? I don't think we'd be any different, but it's a bonus. For me, it's a lot of people get together before all this social stuff. A koi show is where people went to have a chat with other people that like koi. Because where else do you do that before you had this sort of forum and platform? Yeah.
It's like the groups, isn't it, Ricky? The groups used to be a big thing where they used to meet up every month, talk about the fish, talk about the illnesses, etc., etc. And one by one, they're falling. They have poor attendance. There are some groups that have a good attendance, but the groups that I've had any involvement with, certainly the Dorset one, it's antiquated.
It's hard work to get people to travel 50, 100 miles for an evening to chat about once a month, once every. It's hard to get people to do it, isn't it? Whereas on this platform, you can turn your computer on, or you can get on WhatsApp and chat about whatever. It's easy, isn't it?
Social media has made it easier, hasn't it, than what it was. But if that's where the people used to go to meet without the shows, that's what there's. That was the social media of them days, wasn't it? Your forums have always been there in a sense as well, but
the problem with forums I always found is you always had there was good. There's good and bad and everything, but the thing with forums, people were faceless, and there was a lot more negative grief because no one was accountable for anything. They could say what they liked, and no one knew who anyone. It was harder to control. Whereas it's become much better now on Facebook. Everyone, if you've got an opinion, right or wrong, it's your opinion, and everyone knows who you are. There's no hiding behind a name and just slagging people off.
Well, there is a little bit of that, mate, but they're cowards.
There is, but it's not like it was, is it? It's like meeting people. It's like when you meet people face to face, and generally people have got manners and they've got. There's a nicer atmosphere, and then suddenly you go like on what the forums used to be 10, 15 years ago. It was like, oh, no one knows who I am. I can say whatever I like, regardless. And it was just, it was all. It wasn't a nice place sometimes, but actually, this kind of environment's a lot better, isn't it? If you've got an opinion, great. If people agree with it or not, it's just what it is. But I'm not. you're there as a person, aren't you? You're not just a name hiding behind 100 other names that can go on to say, well, yeah, it was a bit odd.
But where would it be though? Where would the hobby be? For me, there's a huge need. There's a huge requirement for a koi show, because when you actually attend, like the National, for example, use the National because it's the cream. Most people have not seen a fish that is 85 plus cm, and then when they do see it, it's like the wow factor or like a kajaku that is fully developed, because it takes a while to get them to where they need to be, to get to a show quality or even a fully developed. So only those sort of places, like koi shows, are the places to go and see that. And
yeah, I'd agree with that.
It gives the ability for people then to start understanding, the sprats that we sell in the ponds, your little tozai, etc. That is not the finished article, and this is where it's going to be. And seeing a fish in the flesh is always better than seeing it on a picture or a video. And
Yeah.
I think without them,
I think without the shows, you won't be able to get to see the quality that has progressed throughout all these years, from what it was back 20 years ago when grand champions were 60, 70 cm, whereas now you're seeing like grand champions pushing 100 cm. There's a definite progression there from what it was back then to now.
Yeah.
To get to see that beauty of how these fish have progressed. Like, for example, the Sankey now is a totally different looking Sankey now to what it was 20 years ago, isn't it? Pattern, formation, everything.
Yeah, but people, I don't think that's what the shows do. I think that's down to
but that's a place where that
starts to blossom.
It can be blossom, and you can see that from for the Joe blogs. That's just got some fish in his garden pond that he keeps them. You can see the real true beauty of what fish are, show quality wise, when you go to these shows, which means gives you something to aspire to, in a sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just about to say that, Gary. It is the inspiration to achieve greater things than what you've already got. And there's a lot of people out there, and it's only natural that they think the fish are beautiful, but until they actually see one of these stunning show quality, like the Jinrin Shiro that Crafty was talking about then, it's a totally different type of fish. And it gives everybody that inspiration to do better filtration, better ponds, better environment, everything. And that's where the hobby needs to be. If you don't see the great things that can come from it, then people will be just...
But does it? I'll put another question in.
There you are. There's a couple.
If we don't see those examples of what we get in the UK in a pond, because the shows no longer exist, would that damage? And I'm looking at this as an outsider, right? And not because I'm in the trade, right? Would it damage what quality gets brought into the UK by breeders, by dealers? Because those people aren't going to be spending that sort of money because they've got nothing, unless they're not show people. It's very difficult to then uphold them sort of qualities.
It's the same thing, isn't it? It's that top end. It's that top end hobbyist again, isn't it? So they're the people that are going to spend the money and learn. You only learn by seeing the end product and then learning where it came from to then go and buy a tozai for $4,000. And most people would look at a 30 centimeter tozai, whatever, at $4,000 and absolutely poo the pants. There's no chance of buying that because it's the jump out and die or whatever. But that's the reality of, to get that fish, you've got to start with that. It's set fairly.
Does it take away from that though, Rick? That's what I'm saying. Not even if it's the top end, right? Right. Even the quality that gets bought in, would that drop because people are not looking for that gem?
I think it already drops. I think England was at one point, or the UK was like the second best quality of fish outside of Japan 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, unfortunately, due to finances, due to the way the hobby is, due to whatever, we're not even remotely on that. It's but that's not just for the shows. It's due to obviously finances, the way of keeping fish, the way Asia's taken off with buying the stocks. You know, it costs a lot of money in this country to rear a fish for 4 years. If you're going to buy a Nisa and rear it to Grand Champion, you're looking 4 or 5 years of serious investment.
Yeah.
And the main part of that investment, unfortunately, is heating. And if you live in a country where you've already got that heating, it's a lot cheaper in there, regardless.
I also think that what you say there is bang on, but then it brings on to another question. It's like if as a dealer or a hobbyist that wants to go into the show scene, is it important that the dealer knows what they're looking at to say this is what a show fish should look like? Because are we starting to see lesser quality fish in the showground down to the fact that when the quality of the fish coming into the UK aren't what they were 20 years ago, like that high end, or is it down to misinterpretation of what a good show fish should look like?
I think it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's both. You've not got the powerhouse hobbyist buying the top end fish, but you've also got the show. The show scene needs to incorporate everyone. It needs to be inclusive. So you're going to have a wider scope. I don't think the level's gone down. I think the fact that you've for a show to be popular and have a good attendance, it's got to be inclusive. It can't be just elitist.
Yeah.
The fact that then you go down that road, you will have a more varied fish being shown at a show. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure to show at the National 20 years ago, you had to have competed in a regional show to then be able to get a place to go to the National. Whereas now you can just go to the National. But that's due to lack of
shows
and lack of shows and everything else. It'd be lovely to have a criteria where your fish has got to pass a certain bar to be able to get to the National.
Yeah. But
to be inclusive of everyone, if the National can only fill 80 vats by letting anyone that wants to show fish, as long as they're healthy, as long as they're healthy and good or whatever. It is one of those.
Do you not think that there's a case that we should try to involve the people that have the lower budget fish? So say, for instance, like we do the grow and show, we buy a fish, a year later we bring that fish back for judging. We don't do anything like that at any of the nationals or the BKKS where
because of biosecurity, though, Matt, isn't it?
It is.
No. I get that. What I'm talking about is you can buy the fish from wherever. It's not a grow and show that's allocated to one dealer. You buy a fish in the year of 2024 as a TOSI, and you are legitimately, you say whether you're heated or not, which we do on, like, I know Ricky, you definitely do. It's a heated pond, and this is what that fish has accomplished, and this is a non-heated fish, and this is what it's accomplished. And then at least it gives Joe Bloggs, that's earning the normal average salary, the opportunity to buy a fish and do his utmost for that fish and bring it to the National or the BKKS or whichever show. So that they have something, because there's lots of people out there that are passionate about koi keeping, and they would never ever dream of taking the fish to one of the shows. But
I think the whole point of the show is you need, like I said, the way you've got a vat. The way our shows work in this country is you've got your vat. You need to be putting 8-10 fish in a vat, whatever, to make it a worthwhile expenditure, whatever. That's just how I don't. There's no way of fixing it with a plaster or whatever. The shows in Japan are completely different. They're run by the breeders. They're run by it's a different world. Ours is done by hobbyists, and if the hobbyists want good turnout in a nice environment, and yes, see good fish, but have people turn out. I think the national this year was the best I've seen it for donkey's years in terms of just everything about it. It just seemed livelier. It seemed better. Quality of fish. Some of the top end fish was still amazing. There was perhaps more range of fish, but I still think the quality was pretty good across the board. There isn't. It'd be lovely to have, like I say, regional shows again, where you've got to be winning the regional shows to qualify for the national. But that's never going to happen. There's not enough turnout. There's not enough shows. It's just not. That is not.
And that's what we need to drum up, that extra support.
Yeah. So when you were saying there about Japanese breeders, are Japanese breeders right to be doing the judging? Is it right that the Japanese breeders do the judging and not use a third party, independent, separate to all these breeders?
They do as well. Yeah, but they do as well. But they basically put on the show, don't they? So it is run by the farms, the breeders, the money that goes into it, and obviously their fish people have brought, but they're still taking them to the shows. It's all about the grand champion is Sakai Fish Farm, whereas in this country, whoever produced the fish is the owner. Grand champion is the owner is so and so. Where it came from is irrelevant. Out there, it's a Sakai Fish Farm have won the koi show, owned by Joe Bloggs from Hong Kong, who's never touched that fish in his life. They're kind of worlds apart, and they will always be worlds apart because it's a hobby-run thing in this country against a business breeder-run thing there. That's just how it is. You can't change them. It won't, as long as the national is, if the attendance is good and people bring good fish, and the stand, I think I said this year was brilliant. It's always good, but
I do agree with you, mate. It does.
It was better. I don't know. I can't even put my finger on why. It just seemed. Well, the trouble is, in this country, the weather can affect it massively. You have a real shit weekend weather-wise. It's outdoors. It's in trouble, isn't it? Before you start. So I don't.
The show that I was on about going to, Ricky, because of the bad weather this weekend, the gate was a tenth of what the normal gate is because of the bad weather.
A tenth. That's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, but that's the trouble with an outdoor show, and yeah, it is difficult.
Just testing.
It's just testing his eyes. See if
you're not watching me.
What about how much does it cost to put on a koi show?
I was trying to speak them. Go back to the Japanese breeder question, mate. Thank you.
Go back to the Japanese breeder question.
Yeah. What was the question?
Did you have a nap as well, Crafty?
No, I have my mic on mute because the dog was yelping because the missus just pulling up.
Excuses.
A second. I need to bring it back up again. Japanese breeders, are they right to judge?
But like over here in the UK, would they be the right people to judge?
No, I mean, you talk about judging their own fish and whatever.
No, over here. I'm sure it was my question.
Yeah. So are Japanese breeders right to judge over here in the UK then?
I think no. I think if at the end of the day, if you're running the show and you had a Japanese breeder come over here to incorporate with the judges here to the judging standards that our judges are adhering to, they can't come over and go, well, I like that one, because it's all about standards. Okay, there could be an award for that breeder to choose the fish, but if everyone's judging to a particular set of rules,
a standard, so to speak.
Yeah, to a standard, yeah. And there's difference. You can't. Breeders look at fish different to judges, for a start. The way they're judged in Japan is different to the way they're judged here. The way they're reared here is different to the way they're reared. It's a different. They're the same fish, but they're also quite different in just everything about it, isn't it? The way you rear fish here and look after fish here is different.
Yeah, I agree, and the reason why I brought this question up is like there has been a lot of a whirlwind in it in the judging at the British shows at the moment with certain information over social media where there's been differences of opinion. Guys, I've just sent you a snippet of some on Facebook Messenger. Can you bring that up?
I can, mate. Yeah.
But there's always going to be, whenever you judge, there'll be differences of opinions. The point is, you have judges because they're people that have looked at fish. Jesus, that's a lot, right? Isn't it?
It is. So this is Fujio at NND. They've just had a koi show over in Japan, one of the smaller ones, and the judging over there has separated certain fish, basically, to be able to give smaller fish a chance of being a GC, believe it or not. However, I know there's a lot of writing on there, but in a nutshell, a breeder is disagreeing with what a judge's opinion of fish are and which way it's going as well. So the fact that we've got a breeder in Japan challenging against or making an opinion against judging in a show, you know, it begged me to look at the question and go, hang on a bloody minute. There's people making noise over here that breeders should judge our shows. However,
in Japan,
they're also pulled apart in Japan about what the standard should be, or etc. etc. So I just wanted to point out the fact that actually they have the same issues in Japan as what they do in the UK. So who's right, who's wrong? Do breeders make good judges? What if a breeder has only been breeding for 3 or 4 years?
It's also the fact that perhaps a breeder might recognise the fact that a fish that you can have a perfect fish at 50 centimetres piece of piss, but you can't have a fish at 90 centimetres that looks that good. The effort to do that is off the scale, but perhaps the judge doesn't comprehend differences in those X amount of centimetres to create that. But you can say there is no show in the world where everyone agrees with the judge, be it a singing show.
No, there isn't, mate. I agree with that 100%. It doesn't matter what it is about. There's always discrepancies or people's opinions on what they think and should have happened, or who should have got it, and everything else, isn't there?
But right, so Chris Taylor's making a point. I hate to say it, I would go what the Japanese experts say 100%. But who's the expert? Is it the Japanese judge or is it the Japanese breeder? Right. So that's my point, Chris. I personally think it'd be great to have Japanese breeders at shows, right? But again, I'm also sort of making a rod from my own back because the Judging Standards Committee and the judging, that they've got a job to do, you know, and a breeder doesn't necessarily provide that standard, and it's a completely different type of judging, you know, to what we do against what the Japanese do. So yes, we embrace what the experts say, but what about the judges? You know, because on this one here, it says here, we see it in good sense that it would give more chance for the breeders with smaller size koi, but it is not so in the sense that the show had turned away from their traditional values. We believe that the size of the entry fish is one of its very important factors in judging. The size and good volume body need to be the first point in judging if other factors are nearly the same. It seems that our appreciation point and the judge's appreciation point were different. These two seem to have parted away. Again, Japanese breeder, Japanese judge. So if we brought a Japanese judge over, are we still going to have the same arguments?
I don't know.
You got that argument.
And this was the point I was trying to make previously, but when this popped up, it was great because I thought this is exactly what my point was. I don't think that Japanese breeders or Japanese judges are going to change what happens in the UK show scene.
The point on there with the jumbo tosai as well. What makes a jumbo tosai? Is it the genetics of where that fish has come from, or the size of that fish when you're trying to sell it?
Yep.
Does that fish just have to have the genetics to have the potential to grow jumbo, or is it just that those fish have exceeded everybody else or all the other tank mates and grown bigger?
Alan Tate says, when I judge abroad, I judge to their standards, and I've judged with Japanese judges. Again, what would be going to their standard then?
So
my issue with all this is the fact that anyone that spends a lot of time with koi will generally see if you put 6 fish, whatever fish you've got, they will generally all still pick the same fish. Body, skin. There's something about if you look at koi a lot and you spend time with koi a lot, and that whole the body shape, skin quality, the way they hold themselves, there's just fish. I don't know. It just they highlight themselves like they got a little beacon. They're swimming around.
Yeah, you're right, mate. They do.
Look at me. I am the dogs, and you just look at the world. Okay, and it's
that's a coup. You can go along, can't you? Go fucking clear winner
for whatever size, and at the end of the day, you got
them out at this size. But something special about them.
Yeah.
I've got a telephone comment. We need Japanese breeders to influence over here, as our judges' standards are out of date.
How they out of date? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think just it's not out of date. It's what standard? Just because it's Japanese doesn't make it better. And we got there Fujiyama having a go at Japanese judges because they're doing stuff right there in front of you.
That's a good valid point there, look. Alan Tate, guys, I watch you judge koi appreciation, and you never have the same winner. That's true.
I always have the same winner.
I always get it right. But that's just a perfect point, isn't it?
But that's different again from photos and video. Real life is, I'm not being funny, it's a lot easier. Real life, you can see the quality of fish so much easier in real life than you can from a photo and video.
Which is why it's important to have a koi show.
Well, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
I know you're not. Mate.
I'm not saying Japanese is better. A lot of people think Japanese is better. Of course, some stuff is, but
the top end fish are the
arguing. We've got judges arguing. It's the same. It's the same the world over, isn't it? Who makes who's the judge? Who's the judge? Who's the best? Who's this? Who's that? I'm
reading another statement here again. This is me reading a statement. The mid-staff shows had judge faults again in the majors, and we need things to change, surely.
Well, who's making them statements?
But who's going to spend the next 4 years or whatever training to be a judge? Who's going to be traveling? Who's going to do it?
How many years?
But he said, "I'm just going to drop my comments in just so that I can't join." But that's what he's just put in there.
Yeah.
But there's a lack of who's going to. They're not being paid to do it. And are you going to go off to 10 koi shows a year to be a trainee judge for the next 4 years?
I wish I could.
Can we nominate you, Ricky?
No, because I've got to go.
No,
he's not allowed to, is he? That's the thing.
I'm not allowed to, and B, I'm not qualified to. I've got to go and do X amount of training.
But I mean, Chris, are you saying this from? As I said earlier, let's embrace it.
Let's embrace it.
Let's embrace it all and invite them over. America did. Did America embrace it though, or did the judging committee or the show say that's what's happening? Was that by the people? Were the people saying that's what they wanted? There's a difference between it happening and people being happy with it happening. I'm not saying they were. I'm asking you a question if you know. I mean, you're making bold statements that everybody that was showing the fish over in America were happy with it. Was there? I'm not saying they weren't. I'm asking you a question. Independent judges adhering to one standard is fine, but breeders would not be judge neutral or not judge neutral. Tony reckons. Breeders could be biased.
Of course they would. I definitely would.
I mean,
there you go.
I'm there with that one, Chris. I mean, to be fair, you're making a statement like you've got some there as fact, and if it ain't factual, then
I'll bring a point.
That's it down. That's it.
Omasako come over.
Flying leap then.
He picked an Omasako fish. Shintaro come over. He picked a Shintaro koi.
yeah. So exactly. So I mean, therefore, it looks judges that are breeders are judging and picking their own stock.
Well, you think they don't right? Do you think they don't know their own fucking fish? Of course they do.
100%.
Fucking man, of course they do.
We all need to be part of a positive change to further our hobby. Ryan says.
100%. I agree with that.
Totally agree with that.
I'm not saying we don't do it. What I'm saying is it the answer to everyone's question? You know, when we're seeing a divide in Japan,
the only way to know, Crafty, would be to put it to test and try it, wouldn't it? And see what people's opinion were on it and how well it went or not.
But if they was to come over, they would have to judge to the standards over here anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the other option would be you bring one or two Japanese judges. I don't know why they got this massive umbrella, but I like this bit. But you bring them over to judge entirely separately to see the result.
Special award. Three judges from Japan, all different.
They judge separately on the big awards to the other judges on their standards against our standards, just to see what the differences are, and you get different awards for whatever. It's complete nonsense. I'm just saying that just to poke the bear a bit.
No, it's not a nonsense, though, is it?
The reality is, the national this year's grand champion. Is anyone going to argue? Was that the best court this year? Absolutely not. I don't get what the argument's about. From that point, correct. Yes, there might be some different awards that are a bit more
political.
I don't know if it's political or controversial, or I might see something one way and you see it a different way. That's life, isn't it? It's if you got different judges in.
UK
different results on best baby champion or whatever, but in reality, they're probably both good koi. That depends on which way you look at it. If we've got judging standards, you look at it this way, it should win this way. And if the Japanese looking at over artistic value this way, they might see it slightly differently. But how do you quantify? How do you train someone that doesn't?
But the Japanese see things differently anyway, don't they? Because they look at what the fish is going to become, and they know can achieve certain as well. Where we look at what's on the plate and a finished fish, so to speak.
Isn't that the right way though, Crafty? Because you may not achieve it. So how can you award a fish?
You have to. I agree. The judging, I don't agree with. Okay, I look at everything as future potential as a breeder. That's what I do. But in reality, like Alan says, it's got to show it when it turns up on that day. It's got to show Sunya. It's got to show quality everywhere.
Skin, size, body confirmation.
Like it owns the VAT, innit? It's got to have a day when it's banging.
Yeah,
and it's the person that prepared that fish.
So how about doing it in the case of having the UK versus the Japanese breeders that have come over and put them side by side to each other, judging the same fish and see what the results are to prove a point, to see which way it swings, whether or not we do agree.
Even if there's what point they're going to prove that they see things slightly differently?
Yeah, but
maybe we already know.
But it's not a point to prove, is it? It's artistic, isn't it? So they'll look at. So they might all agree on the top 3 or 4 awards, and there'll be a couple there's disagreement on because.
But that would be the case now within the judging standard that we've already got, because there is bits where people have got opinion on one fish and opinion on another, and then they've got to go away and talk about it and break it down, and then start getting to the smaller detail to say, right, this one's got a demerit for that or a demerit for this, which makes that fish better than that technically. And
exactly, that's exactly what our judging standards do, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the judging and the award, so if we had our UK judges judging the fish and they awarded fish number 1 first place and the Japanese went for number 2, would that person who was competing be more pleased to have the 2 or the 1? In the sense of, would they take more credit from the Japanese judge saying that's the show winner?
I think though that's a different standard.
Which is a different
It
thing.
is a different standard, but would we, as a shower, would you be happier to have the Japanese judge saying that is the show winner?
In Japan, I would.
Wouldn't you be in the UK?
No,
I'm sitting on the fence asking the question.
It's a different competition against a different set of rules.
I don't know. I don't want to upset Mr. Tate at all, but
I think that's it's a talking point.
At the end of the day, if your fish won because the Japanese have said it won, and your mate's fish won because you both be happy, you're both winners. But
which one would you prefer, though, Ricky?
Huh?
Which one would you
prefer? To win, that'd be great, mate. I don't care.
Yeah, but come on.
If Alan's the grand champion, I'll be Alan's mate. I'll be in. I don't get. See, just the Japanese rings, it makes no difference, is it? Alan's been judging shows for for nearly 100 years now, and so he's seen a lot of fish. So he knows what he's on about, doesn't he? And you could get a Japanese bloke that ain't got a Scooby Doo.
But these Japanese blokes that you say that ain't got a Scooby Doo are producing some of the best fish in the world.
Might be, but they don't. But you're bringing a judge over that might not.
Well, surely, but their judges are breeders, aren't they? So you'll be bringing a breeder over, not a judge.
They're not all judges. Some breeders are judges. The whole point is that the judges over there, they're from all sorts of walks of life. So and there'll be disagreement. So the grand champion over there have a ballot, and there might be 5 fish chosen for grand champion. Then they have to choose again and choose again and choose again. So the numbers. So what really happens is they chose 5 different fish to be grand champion, didn't they? Before you whittle it down to the one that gets most votes.
Well, I've got another question then. That's just is everyone happy? Right, for example, for what we've seen and what we've all seen, is everyone happy with the judging standards based on what we've seen this year?
I'm happy the judges even turn up. Who's paying them? I don't. Why has everyone got an issue with judges? When I play football, right?
It's voluntary for the work that they're doing. I appreciate that, but does that necessarily mean just because they're not getting paid, you should be happy with the results that they're judging?
They're the best. They're the best judges we got. I play football. No one's ever happy with the ref. No one's ever happy with the ref when we play football.
I'm not saying I'm asking. I'm not saying they are because I don't know. But are they the best judges that we've got, or are they the judges that we can get to do the job?
No, just imagine it.
He did have a chick in his hand, Mary.
It wasn't. It was a duck, and it's actually hatched tonight. So we're going to call it Gaz.
Oh.
Hey,
what would you do?
It's
cruel.
In fact, you can send it my house and I can swim on pond.
GPT.
Back it on the head with an hammer, Gaz will.
Gaz, I'll have you know, when I was a young lad, I had many a pet duck.
Excuse me, goldfish. That's all I'm saying.
Without the judges, the shows wouldn't go ahead, mate. Dumb.
He was going to come round and tip bleach in my goldfish tank tonight.
That's not what I said. So, take it out of the context that I put it in. That's bullshit. What do you reckon, Crafty? Are you happy with the judging standard that we've had based on what you've seen this year? But I suppose that's such a generic question because I bet the people that would say yes or no.
I would say different shows have had different outcomes. One particular show, I would say no. I think that they were very controversial in certain groups. They've got it right in places and not so right in others. However, I'm going to come back at that question because there's quite a lot of stuff that people don't know about the standard and what they're actually judging against. And it's that bit for me that people that make the opinions of the wrong fish has got the wrong award, or the wrong award has gone to the wrong, or the right award's gone to the wrong fish, is based on opinion or lack of knowledge of what the standard says, and the standard is not produced, which is what makes it so controversial, in my opinion. But for me, looking, there's been fish that I would pick other fish over. So, I would go, well, for me, it was that one. And there was one in the Northeast show, the GC there, and not taking away from what the judges done. For me, there was an out-and-out winner there, and it weren't the one that took the title. However, I didn't see the fish on the day. But just looking at all the qualities I did see on the Sunday, I still think it was a better fish, even without seeing it on the day. When you start looking at baby champion and things like that in certain classes, there's so many fish that can compete in smaller size groups that it gets difficult to know, even if you've seen all the fish. So it's the amount of miles that goes into judging when they go like the national, and the one that was overseas recently, the amount of walking that them guys do just to see the fish is unreal. I can say that you probably don't study the fish enough to actually know, unless it jumps out at you and it's a clear winner. When you've got 2 or 3 fish that are fairly equal, and then gets down to the nitty gritty, it's like, have you really done enough to look at what the standard is that they've produced, or are you just happy to say that's the winner and walk away? Yeah. Where the coaches take a little bit longer, don't they?
So if they are the best of what we've got, how do we get? Hang about. If we can't get better than what we've got, right? How do we get more hobbyists involved? People from the outside in right now don't want to get involved in showing because the standards aren't right.
I think you need to go more than that. The fact that if I was watching this as someone keeping koi, would I want to become a koi judge? And everyone's slating me.
I'm not. No, I'm not. No, it's
not me personally. But if you're a young lad there, you kept your koi, and you think that's a 4-year apprenticeship going to all these shows to become a koi judge, to be. It's like whoever, I don't know who becomes referees. It's just one of those things.
You got to be passionate about it, aren't you? And want to be deeply involved in it.
Either be very thick-skinned or no.
Could we get better judges if we made the shows a bit more expensive so that they got a salary from it? I.e., X amount of pounds per show that they judge.
Absolutely not. I don't think that make any. I don't think it would be such a minimal wage. You've got to rely on like those people that are passionate about it to do it. If I don't know how many qualified judges are there in the BKKS? Does anyone know that?
No idea. Alan, Mr. Tate, how many qualified judges are there in the BKKS?
We've had 2 come to us as young kids, youngsters training to be judges, but neither of them, as far as I know, ever made it to be judges. So, what's the upstake? I mean, how many are there? How many are coming through? And it's one of those things.
Is that the case, Rick? Because this might be wrong. Might get me a bit of shit. Is that because it's a bit of a dead man's shoes, and the older generation don't want to move aside to let the younger generation in there to replace them?
No,
because I think it's the finger in the pie that the younger generation don't get a look in because they haven't got the experience because they're younger. So the older generation look at them and are like, well, what do you know, kid? You've only been keeping koi for 12 years. I've been keeping them for 60.
No, I don't think that's the case. So I think it's the sheer travelling you got to
Oh,
do,
there's got to be a little bit of that.
and the time. No, because I think the point is they're crying out for judges, isn't they? So at the end of the, but to become a judge, the trainee, you got to cover so many shows, so much mileage, bugger all money, the amount of time. What 20-year-old is going to be travelling around the country every weekend looking at fish as a trainee judge?
No, well, I'll put it to you in a different perspective then. Let's say, for example, if your car's been smashed up and you want your car repairing, which do you go for? Do you go for the young whippersnapper that just comes straight out of college that can do a pretty good spray job because he's passed his qualifications and he's qualified in doing it? Or do you want the old guy that's been doing it for 25 years and can mix your colour by eye, doesn't need all the fancy machines and everything else because of the experience that he's got? Straight away, you're going to go with the guy that you'd think, he's been doing it for years and years and years, and what he produces is banging, as opposed to the young lad that's just come out and got all the qualifications, but yet lacking in the experience.
Then
How would it not be the same?
Didn't you?
Well, yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's not what's happening, is it? You haven't got the younger generation there alongside the older generation judging.
No, but that's an interesting one with the mechanics because today, for example, my old Land Rover, I got one garage.
Not broke down again.
Yeah, I got one garage that's saying they won't touch it because they haven't got enough experience with old vehicles, and the old guy's saying exactly the same with the new vehicles. So it's like,
I mean, if they combine the two together, so that the younger generation came along with the older generation of judges and they learnt from them and they did year after year after year.
That's what the trainee judges do, though. That's the whole point.
That is exactly right.
The trainee judges follow the old judges, but then you get into that cycle where the trainee judges learn the same things people were complaining about the old judges. If you're trained by someone,
circle, isn't it, then?
But that's
and when a trainee is being trained by a judge, being trained to what the judge's eye is and likes, rather than what.
Let me give you another example then. If you got a trainee judge, but he was 58-year-old, and a experienced judge that's 60-odd, 70-odd-year-old that's been doing it a long time, would that be it, Daz? Get yourself up to bed, mate, if you're that tired, bud. If you're worn out. I know you've had a busy week, mate.
Wood chip all for the last 2-3 days.
I think you could be reasonably excused, mate, with everything that's been going on these last few weeks. If you wanted to take an earlier night, mate.
Don't blame your Daz, mate.
Yeah.
Get your head down, bud. I'll speak to you tomorrow, mate.
Okay.
Take it easy, bud.
See you later.
Good night, mate.
This topic, the problem is, how are you going to get young kids to become koi judges in the country? It's a nightmare, isn't it? What are you offering? But what are you offering a 25-year-old?
I'd say probably very little, mate.
Just I don't know. And it's quite a rigorous trainee. To become a qualified koi judge is not easy.
How many people watching now that would actually want to be a judge?
Well, there's no one watching now.
Well, I do know one person that would. But I mean, that when you're talking about one person and how many people we got in watching us now, 139. Is there anybody else? Is there anybody out 139 people? I know one that would like to be a judge. Is there anybody else here within? Well, there's two. So 2 out of 140 people. It's not very big odds, is it? I mean, we all sat there talking about what's this, what's that, what should happen, what could happen. But, that's 2 out of 140 people. So they got very
I'll be a guest judge, but I'm not being a proper judge. But refereeing, I don't mind refereeing now and again.
You'd be interested in that. Right, there you go. Artistic koi keeper, me, Gaz. Right, apply. Go for it. Do it. There's no good turning around and saying you want to do it and you would like to be involved in it without actually got. There you go. Did. This is my point. Right, Vince. I would. There you go. Apply. There we go. There's 4 more new judges that straight away we could put in.
Send me your details and I'll forward them over to Alan. There you go.
That's the thing, isn't it? You need
This is if what it needs is an injection of fresh blood, then the people
You're
that
not
are
calling Vince's blood fresh. There's no way Vince's blood fresh.
Paul Hutchinson, there you go.
He ain't
Another one.
fresh.
So for all the people that would are passionate enough to be involved in it, put yourselves forward, man.
But you've got to attend what is it? 25 koi shows as a trainee judge across the country. How are you going to do that as a normal person? That's going to take you 6 years with the amount of shows we got attending all the shows.
But
they're all
if that's
screwed.
what it takes to become one, then surely that's the commitment that you've got to put to it to be one.
I know, but that's where people are all going to drop out, because who's going to do that?
There's people that do.
Exactly, but the problem is we're here slating those people that have done it.
No, we're not.
I'm not slating anybody.
We're all going
do.
about judging standards and the judge,
Yeah.
but in reality, those people have put so much effort into becoming a judge.
Yeah,
we shouldn't be here giving them any grief. We say, that's your decision. You've got a lot more experience at looking at fish in that situation than I have.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at fish for 30 years, but they've still got a lot. They're looking at fish in that situation. Done.
to that set of rules, and that's what they do.
I'll take me out of all of them. If I had that, I'd be, thank you very much for judging it. You're all crap. Only joking.
When you were saying that, I was thinking in my head,
He's frozen.
who
That is
would I
beautiful.
think would be a
He
good
was looking in his head at the time as well.
You're looking in your head then. You froze. Go on, Matt.
I think I froze. In my head, or in anybody's, who would you, Crafty, first one up, who would you nominate, even if they didn't want to do it, who would you think would be a good candidate to be a judge?
Alan Tate.
Ryan Stoddart.
Ryan Stoddart.
I genuinely do think he would make a very good judgment, but he isn't somebody that would have the level of time to be able to do it, as is yourself. I think you would make a very good judge, Rick. But again, it's the commitment and the time that you would need to do what you need to do to get to that standard. You'd have no time left for family life, your young lad, work and everything else. For a working man, it's not something you can necessarily do, is it? You can't give all that time to do it.
No, I think people that do give their time to do the judging and whatever should have respect. I know you don't always agree with everything, but that's
I should have a lot of respect, man. A hell of a lot.
All of them bar a couple.
Yeah. But you're going to get that in any walk of life.
But that's life, isn't it? That's only joking.
There
Alan
must be-
knows I'm only joking.
There must be loads of people out there that have the capability, the passion for the hobby, that they just need that extra push for somebody almost to say, mate, you need to do it. You would be a good candidate.
I think a lot of the people, personally, Matt, that have been involved in showing and have now perhaps maybe stopped and are perhaps maybe retired, that know the quality and standard that's needed to make fish worthy of being in a show, would be a great candidate for being a judge at a show and learning what's needed as a standard to be out there as a judge themselves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them that not showing anymore. Maybe those people would be the people to approach or to ask or to inspire to come along from being a shower that's competed and taken grand champions, etc., 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 knowing what's needed and what's dedicated and what needs to be put into it, to then go to the opposite side and sit behind the ring or inside the ring and do the judging of people's fish that are up and coming for the next generation of people competing.
The problem is the training. So the way the training works is you've got to attend so many shows, and there's only so many shows that take so many years. Maybe it needs to be re-looked at and say, actually, we need to train judges quicker in separate types. So it's a shorter window of training. You're being trained in. You want to be a koi judge, we're going to train you in Deutz varieties. We're going to train you in Ginry. We're going to train you in these sizes or that size. So you're not learning everything. You're an expert in a narrower field, and you can do your training in 1 year.
Yeah, in all honesty, if I had the time and I had less work commitments, I would love to be involved in it, because learning all the stuff about koi is something I really do enjoy. I do like all the aspects of what we were talking about, how fish develop, how here we go. how it all is within it all.
Here's the koi judge. You've been nominated.
I
I'm
mean,
glad, because you're all a bunch of politicians, you cricket bats.
On the chair, you're volunteering for the next koi show, Judge.
Mate, I'll be more than happy to, or I'll fund somebody else to do it, because I'm telling you, I've been watching, honestly, I've got yous on this big screen here watching you, all you fucking politicians. Seriously.
to an extent, though, Ryan, what people are you can't.
Yes, you've got me for 10 minutes.
You can't pull the guys to pieces for something that they do voluntary. But
No, it's not
if you
about
want
pulling them to
improvements,
pieces.
the
It's not about
improvements
pulling
need to.
them to pieces at all.
No,
for
I'm
me,
not, that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
really-
None of us
I think what they do in terms of the dedication and what they do, I think we're caught in a time lapse here. That's my only thing. I think we're caught in a major time lapse of what we're seeing. And this year, I don't think, being honest, for one, that we've got enough fish to compete in these environments at the moment. GC, for every show I've seen, being honest, has been on slim pickings, 1 or 2 fish at best this year. So they've not had blessed with choice. But again, from what I've seen of the mid-staffs this weekend on the results, GC got awarded that based on the body, rather than I think it was Supreme Champion. I thought Purse technically was actually a better fish. And all right, they didn't have the size of the fish there, which is fine. Obviously, they don't normally get huge fish at 85 plus. But I just think we've got to try and influence this in a way to make it more appealing to the hobbyists, to get hobbyists more involved in what we're doing. It's not about slagging anybody off at all. At the end of the day, everyone's got their views about it. Me and Crafty have had big conversations behind closed doors about this. But end of the day, as for me, I will express myself quite happily, because I'm standing there saying at the same time, yeah, if I am going to pull it down for any reason, I'm also going to try and build it back up by helping. That's at the same point, because
Do we need to flip it around a different way then? Perhaps they should do, rather than all the koi shows all on the same format. Why like the mid staff, when they do it as younger sizes or smaller sizes, like a junior show, whatever. If you're not
I think
getting
the
them
Birmingham show, I think that's planned end of month, I think would be a great concept. Again, if they get the fish there, though, if people actually support it, and I know a lot of people are trying to sort of waver up that way, but again, we're dealing with a smaller show that can't actually take the capacity without growing the show and people getting involved to support it. Again, is a major problem. But I just think this year, I know too many hobbyists that are my customers, that are people who are involved at a higher end of the level. Again, hobbyists that I see out in Japan that aren't even my customers. They're not willing to show because the standards are nowhere near good enough. And again, why would you bring your prize collection out that might be upwards of 20k to a show full well knowing they're not going to get served justice? That's what I'm saying. For me, I think we've got too many people sat behind what they should be doing, not coming forth. Like I've said, we've had Lee Manning for years at the National that's been bringing the best fish we've probably seen in the UK. Now, all of a sudden, isn't showing. Yeah, when he should be, because he's got nothing to sort of push and pull against. He's got no one else at that level in that hobby furthering him to what we was doing. We've been on about this before. I think that's where
wouldn't that kind of person, Ryan, then be an ideal candidate to become a judge?
Somebody younger.
If he's not got no competition, so to speak, because he has been the top of the top, then
listen, it's always hard for me. It's hard for me because of how I've been brought up. Right, I've been brought up in this, literally living and breathing it. I've not come into hobby mid-age trying to learn the hobby. Yeah, everything I know, I've told Craft this before. I've spoke to a lot of people. Matt, my fish selections are based on like instinct. Yeah, there's no, and this is what I'm saying when I see in Japan. I've been able to walk around, luckily, with a group of judges in Japan, and it's so fast and ferocious, but they get the right outcome. Because it's off instinct. If you can't look at a fish in any vat, like the judges do, they'll get like on their iPads or whatever they get. Oh, this, and this. Come on, I know Alan. I could sit there with Alan and agree on saying fish is in all day long. I know I could. So why can't we as a collective? Yes, I know we have difference of opinions, but if that difference of opinion is a really weak link, why are they coming back to our shows continually? You can't tell me Alan agrees with every judge that's in there that should probably stay there. It just, I think something's got to change. And I'm not saying, I don't want to sit there saying, we need to bring Japanese breeders in to start making UK people look this big. It's not about that. It's about trying to bring the confidence out in the hobbyist to step forward and go, right, I feel now to that show that I will take my fish, because if I can't do it in the UK side, the Japanese side will bring it forward.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's just
So you want to see two run parallel with each other?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but this is the problem. I think again, it's people knowing that in advance. How will it look in terms of the hobbyists we get pulled to the environment as well? You know, not just one guest judge, as in, like we were saying earlier, I've seen it before. Omasako come, Shintaro come. Yeah, it's too biased. I'm talking a collective of younger breeders. Again, we've had too many people. Shintaro, too old. Sorry, the breeding of the koi, a very, you know, I'm not disputing that, but again, it's stuck in a generational time warp.
Yamaguchi.
People like Yamaguchi, yeah, people like that. If we can, I'm already working on getting people set in stone for next year, giving them plenty of warning at the moment. We've already got 2 locked in at the minute. I ideally want as many as possible, and I've told them. Again, it's difficult, mate. It's only small farms. At the time of year for us where we are shouting, they don't agree with it. They think it's ludicrous that we have the dates that we do for shows. But yeah, mate, the thing we can bring them though. But the problem is though, mate, that it's getting them people. I know they do it and they'd be great for the aspects of the hobby, but we're just getting them here with the farms. Like Yamaguchi's a one-man band. You know, to let him walk away from his farm for a week, it'll probably just not be viable for him. But at certain,
I'll go to his farm. He can come to mine.
What do you think to a comment like this we've got there from Tony? It would be bad for the hobby if the standards were so high that only the elitist who can afford top quality koi could enter. The standard needs to encompass all levels of hobbyists. If that was the case, and you had a dog that you wanted to take to crush, you could take your mongrel and compete. And you can't, can you?
What about that? GC at mid-stash was £150 toe side. The GC at mid-stash was £150 toe side being raised. Lee Hadfield's adult champion was a £95 toe side being raised. Lee Hadfield's, a lot of Lee Hadfield's fish, trust me, aren't big money. It's all in the raising of the raw quality of the fish.
It's the quality of the fish that it's been grown on and now brought on.
Exactly. And, you know, a lot of these GCs that are winning at the moment, again, have just probably been raised properly for a start. Don't get me wrong, a certain few, they have paid top dollar for them. But admittedly, I think you could beat them with better. Honestly, that is my hand on heart opinion of where I'm at.
And the reality is to grow those fish properly is going to cost a lot of money. It's not cheap to raise a fish.
Produce a champion
to 75, 80 centimeters, you're talking thousands.
I've seen two hobbyists this year, though, leave the hobby because they were showing, because they were sick and tired of what was happening around there with justice not being served to koi. And I don't disagree with them. But again, if no one's willing to stand up and actually say, look, come on, guys, we need to see a bigger picture of change. I know Alan Tate's not going to be able to sit there and tell me that he ain't going to be open to changing what we're doing at the moment, surely to God.
Unless change takes time, though, doesn't it? It all comes through from every level and every direction. And that's the whole point. It's not going to happen overnight. It just takes time. And it doesn't necessarily need to change massively, does it? It just needs fresh
Japanese influencers. If we get, say, 2 or 3 that come in and can, again, outbalance the numbers, if they're judging together as a collective, to outbalance them numbers might make a huge difference. I'm not being funny. We can all sit there and say this year that the majors, when Liam does a great job of what he does. But I'm not being funny. I feel a bit ashamed for him sometimes. He has to photograph some of these fish. You know, without sounding bad, I generally I'm not just saying it. Some of them just, no, I generally don't see it. I'm lost. And we've all said it. I don't mean funny. We've all seen it this year with our own 2 eyes. If we all us lot here don't agree and don't say, well, we don't know koi, then we might as well just rag it all in.
But to be fair, at the national, everything I saw, mate, I'm fucking far wrong, mate. The top awards were all right. I didn't see anything at the national, but that's the only show I was there to see the fish in the flesh.
There's always been 1 or 2 where they've been way out, like way out. When you see other fish there, and again, if you know on raw instinct fish, and I'm not talking again, someone walking around and me saying, "Oh, that's my fish; it should have won." I don't look at it like that. I'm just looking as a collective, and I can give good koi appreciation to anybody that serves good koi out there. I'm not being funny, Rick. What did I say to you at weekend on Saturday? Over there,
no, fuck off, Ryan. You kept coming back.
Why does it have to be a huge koi that wins grand champion?
Because the whole point of that is it's so difficult to keep the quality and the size, man. Of course, it has to be a big fish.
It's the body first, isn't it?
You could have a million koi at that big that look amazing.
Yeah, but I just feel like we're trying to break this like chain of like it has to be everything just has to be by the rule book. Like, oh, jumbo has to be, yeah, all right, the biggest fish. I'm sorry, but if the biggest fish looks absolutely awful or it's bent as a kipper,
I'd agree with that because on the show where we were, I would have said straight 100% Akamatsuba.
Best non-go sanko.
That should have had that, but it didn't get it. It went to a chag that would. No disrespect.
But the chag to me should have actually won jumbo.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the one that won jumbo had sunken eyes
and was not looking at me, looking at you. It was looking at the
corner. There we go. We've got three opinions there straight away. That I didn't agree with.
Don't forget, jumbo koi is awarded by the bench, not by the judge.
Yeah. I just think that the best non-go Sankey was by far the Akamatsuba. That was one of the nicest Akamatsubas I think I've seen.
It's always been the most, but this has been the most volatile award ever given. Because I tell you, best non-go Sankey at that show for 3 years has been just single coloured fish up and down. It's been awful, and there's been far better fish there that have rocked people's boat. Again, if we looked at a collective of people that was walking around saying, like we said, what's best non-go Sankey? Where all of us in agreement here would go that Akamatsuba. But then that's what I'm saying.
I've asked questions on things like this, and I know that it's a talking point of, why does size always take it when I'll give an example that isn't a real life example, right? But you have I'll give an example because it fits the bill. So you have an achiever that's 85, 95 cm, right? But the pattern on the achiever is absolutely fucking diabolical. It doesn't represent what an achiever should look like, but it's an achiever, right? And you've got size, you've got body. The pattern is fucking dog shit, all right? And then you've got, I don't know, an Akamatsuba that is smaller, hasn't got the same body conformation because the body frame can't exist because it's a smaller koi, but all the other qualities are there. Why would the achiever take the title just because it's a bigger fish? Because not all the qualities are there, and I know that it's a talking point, and I know that it's
they're scared to break the grain though, Kraft, aren't they? This is the problem. They're scared to go, do you know what? And the year they did it was at the national when they went, I'll tell you what, baby champions, that little size Wonka Jacko over there, and everyone was like, what the gone off here?
Fucking
every year you could guarantee it being a Kawaka or a Sankey. Yet all of a sudden now we're bottled back up because we've had a bit of controversy coming. That's like, whoa, now we have to go back to being safe again now. Now the time's not to be safe. I've seen way too many good fish at that show. Again, baby champion was a massive controversial point at Great British Koi Show, and everybody I tell you now who I spoke to agreed. Literally everybody. And again, I kind of get a bit thing that I keep talking to people, and they come to me talking about it. It shows going, this is wrong, that's wrong. Well, let's fucking change it then. Is it not about time we changed it? We're in 21st century.
I think
that judges are tell you now, set on fire.
I mean, we have to do it properly though. It's not about assassination of the people that does it.
No,
I completely agree, mate. But when there's too much of it actually going on, and it's consistently going on now, it's getting under my fucking skin, to be honest with you. This year, it really has. It's made me piss boil a few times, and I think it's actually the biggest part of setting. I'm going to be honest, it's setting our hobby back. Dealers put all this effort into these shows, make a great thing of it all. They put the advertising on. The Nationals rocking at the moment. The only thing it's missing is that little bit of finesse around and I'm talking finesse. I'm not talking pulling it down, pulling it apart. Finesse on what we're doing to just go from 8% to 100%. That's all I'm saying, from my opinion. I'm not pulling anybody down here. Let me just clarify that. I'm saying we just need to go up a gear. Because
I mean, improvement's improvement no matter what, innit? And it will always make it better for it.
You're telling me you can sit there and have an honest conversation with a judge when it was last year, they give a fucking young champion with a scar up its side. I mean, come on. That thing, they talk about cutting fish and that conversation you guys had earlier, that should have been disqualified. Yeah, he got Young Champion, and that, I tell you what, that was fine because the dealer are actually sponsoring the show that year. Funnily enough, I just think it's a right load of bollocks. Honestly, it's just I can't get my head around it half the time. Honestly, it's so just like I don't know. I just think
This is why you should be out there, mate, being a judge. This is why you should do it.
I'd still fucking get it wrong though, wouldn't I? Let's face it, fucking hell,
Yeah, but then we
Jesus.
can all sit there and slag you off instead.
But I'd quite have to tell you that though. That's a problem.
I think
I don't know. I just think something's got to fucking change for me.
Change is a good thing, though, isn't it? Sometimes.
Listen, nobody in this life.
Without trying, you're never going to know, are you?
Nobody wants to be the grey man. And if we're all going to sit there being grey men because no one can voice an opinion in 21st century either, where's this hobby going to get in next 10 years? Where do we see our hobby in 10 years and if we're not going to change it now?
Ban imports from Japan and I will be a millionaire.
Boom! You're
That's my
already a millionaire.
No, I've said this though. Like, I genuinely give Koi appreciation. Rick, well, honestly, without joking apart, what did I say to you the other day about your fish? I said I was blown away with what I'd seen.
Yeah.
Blown away. So there you go then.
So again, you play it down though, Rick, don't you? You play it
Yeah,
down.
he plays it down, but I was genuinely being sincere to him and saying, look, I'm going to tell you now, the Ginrin stuff, what I've seen, and some of the varieties, what you're doing there, fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't
genuinely.
really go, yeah, can I?
A and C, man. Stop rocking the fucking boat. Come on.
I mean,
Stand up and put your Gastaniad in your hand, boy.
you go in there on a personal level, and again, that don't need to be done, mate. So if we can't be constructive, then
Who's this?
as usual, you got no good to say. I say no at all, man. It's the first time you've made a comment in a long time, and the first comment you've done is just to go to slag off an individual.
Yeah, just to get a
I said it
reaction.
before it passed. I don't want to ban you, but I will.
Who's slagging me off?
Not,
No, it's not slagging you off. It's just that's just a personal dig at an
Not
individual.
you.
We're going to make it constructive. We're going to be constructive. We're sitting here to have a conversation and a talk about. It is your opinion, but I don't necessarily make it.
It's
Right.
not an opinion. It's a dig. They've done it for reactions.
You know what though, guys? This is why people like ourselves who are sat here tonight are giving our time up on a Thursday night. All right, I put a full shift in tonight, but we want him to voice his opinions and try and drive the other forward.
Your timesheet will be deducted, mate. Don't worry.
He just turns up, stirs the pot, and fucks off.
Yeah, like literally, you've got about 45 seconds till I drop the mic and I walk away.
Done. But yeah, I think the hobbies is what it is, isn't it? People take from it, people grow in it, some people disappear from it.
Well, again, look at it from a sense of as well. We're talking about selling koi. You know, we all sell koi for a living, apart from you guys. But anyway, you know, we want to sell.
Hey,
we
I've
want to sell.
got some Ginrin for sale, mate.
Hey, you can't show if you're selling.
Yeah, Gaz. Now you're a dealer.
Do you think that maybe, Crafty, you just put your finger on it there, right? So maybe in this country, we've got to a point where actually we do need a show where everyone can show. Dealers, farms, breeders, whatever the fuck you are.
Why the hell? I don't understand why. I don't understand why
This was
not.
the thing about they wanted to get the dealers do it to up the standard, obviously, what everything they're doing. But then the dealers show again. You've got to we can't. And Jesus, I mean, I never take parks. You have to put one fish in one size. Come on, we're dealing with like 6 fish in one category or something stupid. Then you've got Go Sankey competing with a Kawari guy. It don't work for dealer show. I honestly, first year I let my vat go empty because I thought it's ridiculous. You know, again, just what's the point? Because I've got to take one size 1 to size 5 or 6, whatever it is, and put 6 fish in a vat. Yeah, I might have 6 fish in general, but they might all be in size 4, and they're all absolutely awesome. You know, Kraft, I'm not being funny. Size 3 and 4, you could have took more than 1 fish to your shop from your shop. I know.
Yeah, fucking loads.
Yeah. And you had to take 1. You know, again, you might have been struggling in size 1 or size 6. You know, it's like anything, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You should be able to take your best quality fish and fill your vat. It's as simple as that. To what, again, we should have the same standards and point structure as what they do in the normal show as dealers. And again, then we'd have a different
just bear with me 1 second. Listen, guys, you see that bit there, right? It says Gaz's Koi Pond. I don't need anybody else telling me what I need to be doing or what I should and shouldn't be doing, right? Wind your neck in, all of yous. Let's stop all this stabbing here and sticking there. And I think this should have happened. I think this is a show that I put on. You're all here because I do so. And if anybody has a choice about what happens or who goes or who stays or whatever, that's down to me. I've had what I needed to be said, and that's it. The more you keep pushing and poking, the more you're going to get a reaction from each other. Let's just chill out, relax, leave the comments and keep them civil. That's all it needs to be, and that's all it's ever needed to be. End of. All right, Chris, if you can't do it, see you later. Anybody else want to go along and join him as well?
I didn't see the comments, man. You banned him for a forum.
Listen, I can't be asked. If somebody's going to poke the bear to get a reaction, expect a reaction. That's what you're going to get.
I was sat there going about the work until this topic come up, and I thought, right.
Well, the topic's to make a conversation. The topic is to be what it is. There is no need for people to be having individual digs at each other. And I'm not going to have the public there scratching and bitching backwards and forwards at each other because they dislike somebody. We all dislike other people from time to time. But as adults, we should be able to move beyond that and move past it and rise above it.
No, guys, I fucking can't stand Ryan, mate. He's such a critic.
I was just about to say that about you, Crafty. I've seen past you.
Fucking hell, here we go.
What needs to happen is...
You absolute cricket, that. Well, anyway, I was shocked tonight. We've been 2 hours and 49 minutes in and you've only ate a bowl of crisps. What is the matter with you?
He had a big dinner.
He's had a big dinner beforehand. Look, all I'm saying before
why you moved it and he's already eaten.
ANC, if you can do me a favour, keep your personal opinions about the individual that you've got them. Keep it to your channel and keep it, as I've asked many times before, keep your personal stuff personal. Don't bring it here. If you can't not bring it here, then I'll have to ask you to leave. And I don't want to have to do that. I don't want anybody to leave, but I'm not going to have someone tell me what I need to be doing on my show. This is the GKP, Gazza's Koi Pond, not anybody else's. So we'll just leave it there. I know people disagree and don't get on with each other. That's always going to be a fact of life. Let's just rise above it, man.
Apparently, all koi dealers hate each other anyway. So yeah,
apparently
you do
as well.
I appreciate you would do, Chris. Just there's no need.
Matt, next barbecue, I'm not coming. I don't like you.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is a good thing, right? Let's look at the positives. There's 4 dealers here, right? All of which helped out on one event that I didn't profit from. Ryan didn't profit from. Matt didn't profit from. Rick profited, or his company, but it was put on for somebody else.
It's Vince's event, mate. Don't blame me.
Yeah. You know, and it was that's brings a perfect point across, Crafter. There was people there from all walks of life.
Yeah, man.
And everybody gelled. Everybody got along and everybody had a fantastic day. Yeah. And there were some top dealers there. There was,
part of the community. It's the koi community.
Exactly. And everybody, that's what I mean. It doesn't need to be all this fucking shit, man.
Yeah, guys.
I was saying how nice it was. Regardless of what level people was at there at the weekend, we was all together just doing what we loved.
I want to finish what Gaz was saying, though. There were some top dealers there, and there was Crafty.
I was going to say there was some top dealers there, and there was Joe Public Walk of Life that were coming in there to enjoy it all for what it was. And it was a good event. It was brilliant.
There was
some good cakes, event. Mate. There was everyone that made cakes.
There was some exceptionally good food and cakes. That strawberry cake, man, was mint. It was well good.
Right, guys. Anyway, I'm after the lovely.
No, you can't go yet, mate. We're
can
in a half hour, mate.
Listen, you've only come in because you fucking poked the bear, and now you want me to leave.
Domino's back there, so he's going to go to smash slice.
Right, guys.
See you later.
Right, let's just move on. Bring up another topic. Let's help somebody out. Somebody had a question. One day, this community will be a community.
No, but it's becoming like a family because everyone hates each other in families.
That's true. To be true.
Guys, lend us 20 quid.
Gaz. I got to introduce you to Gaz.
We're going to get to see Gaz again. And then we've got some fish to look at.
It hatched.
Whoa, don't drop Gaz, man. God damn, he's only just hatched.
I know, exactly. It had well, gas was on, so it's going to be called gas, and it's going to be a house duck.
Where's he going to live?
Gaz Jones, I would like to ask the panel, is it advisable to use pressure pipe to run from a filter through to a pump and back into the pond? I've seen videos advising you don't have to.
You don't have to underground either. So from your bottom drain, there is no requirement to run a pressure pipe from your bottom drain to your drum. But I would recommend it just for that extra. I'm poking people on this one because I know, but you read all the requirements, specification of the pipe, and I've done it here myself. Everything under concrete is pressure pipe, because why not spend that extra 20 quid to put pressure pipe under there and have the security of knowing that you can take that weight? But
take the weight, take the fucking cold in the ground, prevent any cracking, because if you get a crack from your bottom drain to your filter, you've got a whole world of fucking hurt to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Next time I do it, I'm definitely going to use it.
Have you been in that position, Rick? I didn't know that.
For you, Rick, that could have just been a piece of faulty pipe that you just didn't spot the crack in it when you put it together.
Mate, it probably was.
Like that from
Rick, I didn't even know you had that issue, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, 4-inch solvent weld under concrete, and then filled it up. It's like, what the fuck's that noise? And it luckily I managed to smash the concrete back, but it was all right. But yeah, it was split.
I think we spoke about this, guys, in chat, like, mate. And I think at the end of the day, if you don't want to run the risk, go with a pressure pipe, but you don't need you need the strength of the pipe to lessen the risk for the extra 20 quid. Is it worth not putting that investment in for something that you're hoping to keep in your garden for 20, 30 years?
I personally would go pressure all the way, because it's do it once, right, and you minimise risk of issues.
Your pockets are like, you can put your arm in, it's about up to your elbow, isn't it? The rate deep kind of thing, aren't they? I can understand people trying not to do it because they can't afford it. But
when I built my pond, right, one thing that I'd really underestimated is the price of pipe and fitting. Fuck me, it mounts up. But if you're going to build a pond and it's going to be a forever pond, right, put your hand in your pocket and save the money until you get it, because once it's done, you want minimal issue.
Yeah,
and
with the pressure pipe, you're eliminating one of those risk factors, aren't you?
100%. I mean, it's not guaranteeing nothing, but what it does do is reduce the risk, isn't it?
I mean, let's face it. You're probably as likely to have a leak from a solvent weld than have a pipe crack.
Yes.
Can we give a tip on it as well? Because I see it loads. When you solvent weld any pipe together, never ever twist the pipe on.
Correct. Push.
It's just literally push in. So many people I've seen have had leaks. Basically, they've twisted it on. And what that causes, because you're actually, with the solvent, is actually melting the two plastics.
Can we do another one as well while we're at it, Matt? There is no requirement to sand back the plastic prior to application.
None
at all. Doesn't mention anything about using it or doing it on the product, but a lot of people do it to burr up. The actual chemical element melts the two and fuses the two plastics together. Yeah. But pushing it on is one of those things. When you push it on, though, Matt, you need to push it and hold it there for a while too, don't you? Because if you don't, because of the pressure being pushed in, they start to push back off. If you watch them and do a test sample, you'll see a piece that will actually start to push away from it. It does push away. So you need to push it and leave it and hold it there. Don't just...
Do you know, other things that I see is people try and keep them joints really, really fucking looking immaculate.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being clean and tidy in your work, mate.
I agree, but I agree.
Get it
Gav,
on.
but get the fucker on. If there's a bit of glue in there, don't worry about it, man. Don't fucking. The glue is the bit that you want in there, and if it oozes out, you've got enough. All right, just leave it.
Exactly, yeah. You've definitely got enough. Then you just need a nice run your finger around it and make it nice, neat finish.
Nice neat bead around the outside.
That's exactly what I do, mate. Yep. I even add to it. Fucking get it in there. It ain't gonna leak on you.
There you go. So that one's there, right? Nikki's asked, what kind of flow around the pond, or what is too much? That's a good question, really. How much is too much flow, and what ideal flow should you have moving around your pond?
Okay, so the question is simple. All right, you've got to go with a flow rate of your filter system. It's very simple.
There you go.
If you push too fast, your filter is not going to do what it's supposed to do, and you will get
time.
Yeah, you will get completely different water clarity, ability in neutralizing ammonia nitrites. You will struggle to keep your quality. If you go within, sometimes slowing it down, it's more about the diameter of the pipe coming back into your water, which is something that you've got to look at as well. So 2-inch pipe is better than 1.5-inch pipe, and that's something that I wish I'd have changed when I built mine. All right. But ultimately, depending on your filtration will tell you what the nominal or the optimal flow rates are within your pond. That's basically what you're looking at if the answer is around filtration.
But I do
People
think that
skimmers going on.
it is individually, though, the pond. You know, yes, you can go by the specification, but it is the individual pond that makes the difference.
Correct.
And like on mine, what was it, a month ago, had to turn the UVs off on the main pond to treat. The water clarity went really green, really dirty. Tried to clear it, and it would not clear. It just literally, I had so many fines floating around the pond. I turned one of the pumps down 5%. And in 24 hours, it was crystal clear.
Yeah.
And it
makes flow rates, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flow rate.
I say to everybody, because they always come on to me, Matt, you built the pond. Now, what speed do I run the pumps at? I can't give that answer. You're the one that's managing your pond. You have to go by, and I always overrate on the UVs. Normally, you have more than one UV in the system. Just because at the peak times when you do want that additional UV, you can switch it off, switch it on, and clear the pond. Exactly, you can give it a boost. You need to manage your pond. You need to take responsibility of that pond. I know it does. I've got one now. It's a 50,000 litre pond. He's saying about the quality of the water with the ammonia and nitrite. And here I am running exactly the same filtration on a pond that's 50% more water capacity with 10 times as many fish in there with 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite. I know the filter does the job.
You've got to feed your fish, Matt.
They are.
Not leaving them at Rick's to be grown on.
I was talking about this yesterday about feeding, and those fish are eating me out of house and home.
Yeah, but you've still got to feed them, mate. Just one scoop a day is not enough, pal.
Oh, no, fair. Right, I'll move on to, because I want to get through these questions. I'm conscious now it's like, 2 minutes. We've been going 3 hours, 2 minutes. Next question is from Paul. Hi, panel. How do Japanese breeders handle increased demand? Do they just breed more, or send more fish that were once upon a time wouldn't have made it through?
No, I think the exact opposite's happened. Their reputation goes before them, doesn't it? So they used to be able to sell all sorts of shit, and now they can't. So the level's got to be there, and they can't produce more, which is why there's demand from elsewhere in the world, isn't there?
Surely they're at the beginning of the year, they're already saying how many fish they're going to grow, and they're breeding to that quantity, knowing that their keep rate is going to do that demand. And when that demand is gone, as in they've sold all the fish, they have no fish there left.
To a point, but it don't quite work like that, does it? Because mud ponds with the fry, mud ponds breeding don't work like that. So, yeah, they generally have good years, bad years, but they have a standard they've got to adhere to. So, yeah, so sometimes a breeder will have 100,000 fish available. Next year might only have 50,000 fish because they've got to meet his quality.
Yeah. So demand doesn't come into it. It's quality that's dealt with, and they've got what they've got.
Sell out, yeah. And a lot of the time,
I'll give an example. Dionysia yellow monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
failed spawning this.
Wasn't happy with the results in the spawning. Didn't just go, fuck it, they'll do. Off you go. You called the lot.
But that's what when you're that top end of that industry, you can't just send out. Momentaro does insane amounts of fish, and he'll cull entire spawnings. It ain't good enough.
Yeah,
ain't good enough. They just ain't hitting the right marks. Whatever, they ain't right. Done.
Does that increase the price of last year's fish?
To a point, but not from the. I think the breeders generally sell the fish for the same price. I think some dealers might escalate prices because there's now a demand for fish that are no longer available and may never be available again. You got a black Zeus, you may never do them again.
That's not so much manipulate. That's taking advantage of the market, isn't it? If the commodity's low, the price goes up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, you know, a good artist might do a few good paintings and then die. Those paintings are suddenly going to become a lot more valuable, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it is what it is. But yeah, generally they have standards. If the fish don't meet the standards, they ain't going to be sold. They might have different amounts each year, but they don't. Generally, they don't put the prices are fairly, apart from the top end few that people want to pick and choose and fanny about with. Obviously, they're always going to be high, aren't they? But the bulk of the farm's fish will be a particular size, particular price. You know, this pond falls all 10,000 yen or whatever.
What was the fish that we were trying to get last year, Ricky, for mine that was just...
Let's just tell everyone to make it even more in demand.
It was nuts, wasn't it?
I can tell you, I've got one.
He keeps banging on, he's got one.
He didn't get any of them. Mine didn't get one.
Yes, he did.
He didn't.
Yes,
it's out of date now. No one cares.
Out of date.
Right, one more. I think we've got one more question, I think.
The pineapple queen, mate. Honestly, if you want a massive Ginrin, they're insane. They are off the scale.
It was. The money was off the scale as well, wasn't it?
Money's off the scale as well, yeah.
I think that's it for the questions. I just wanted to make sure that I got the questions in that people have been asking, so that we'd at least covered them. Let me just double check.
I'm going to get more beer. It's fucking hours. 3 hours we've been on. Jeez.
There's still over 100 people, like 126 people watching.
Yeah, that'll soon. When we start koi appreciation, we'll
no, try on for the koi appreciation. This is where you learn.
And this is it. This is it.
You
and obviously, we're doing New Forest koi appreciation this time.
They could get really well. See how big my arms are there when I do that?
I believe that's the last of the questions. I don't think we had anything posted in.
I've already done a video for Crafties next week. Or was it not yours next week?
I don't know whose it is next week. Who's next week, Gaz?
Well, next week's going to be back to a fish, and then we're going to do. Well, unless you want to go with next week and having
Let's just keep the dealers wait for now.
Howie Koi or Ryan Stoddart's exclusively Koi.
Well, I've already pre-recorded one.
What would you
gotta
guys
make sure Ryan's on? If you do Ryan's,
what?
If you do Ryan's, he's got to be here to take the flak, isn't he?
Exactly. So he's got to be. That's what I mean. If we do it, we've got. That's what I'm saying. We've got to. You let me know in the audience, guys. Would you rather a specific type of fish, or would you rather go with another dealer?
Perfect aquatics. I've got one lined up.
There we
Just
go.
saying. That's my opinion.
Right, let's get into a bit.
Because I had one lined up last week for his. I like it.
Let's go back. Oh my God. Where the hell's it gone? Right, there we are.
Oh, Rick.
Nerf bullets, mate.
Did the
Sorry?
fish go today, Rick?
Yeah, yes.
I think he is. I think he is messing with your list. You're going to have to use another post-it note. God damn it. Right. Let's go with it then. First one.
Wrong.
First one's share your screen.
How many we've got? 6?
No, there's quite a few, mate. So the first one, let's make sure I get this right, is Sally Harfield.
Oh, I not see.
And these are Yamatanishkis from last year's growing event from the Mark Gardner range.
Ioki ones, yeah. The Mark Garner, the Ioki ones, yeah.
And here we get everybody else now sending in videos. Come on, you've had all week.
Are they both from the same? Are they both from the same spawn?
Yeah.
Fucking body on that bottom one.
Yeah,
I
these
thought you'd have been sending yours, Tony, all week with the amount of pictures that you've got to send in. They're two very nice fish there, mate.
So Mark had 2 sets of Benny Kikakuru, an Ioki set and a Marasaka set. And
So
these are Ioki ones. Or offspring of said.
What's that? Was that 35, 40 cm? That top one? That marathon?
I think they were £30 a fish.
So we're going with another dealer for next week then. We've got Perfect Aquatics then.
I'm not here next week.
Do you have to give prices on all the fish as well?
Oh, mate. Fucking
Mine are
No,
all for
growing
you.
show first from last year from Mark Gardner line. So that's Sally's first one. Now this one is a reject from this year's growing show with a difference.
Oh,
yeah,
not
I've seen
TJ.
it online, man. Fucking.
That little banger. That's a reject. What?
Yeah, but they're too short in the peduncle.
Not had much time this week. There's the same amount of time in this week as what there was in every other week. Don't I? They're always the same. You've been busy counting all
that
those
one
fish.
got 50p. Was it 50p on them? Or 25p? Good one.
There we go. There's a nice little fish. Something different. And that, to think that were a reject.
Why is she sending in rejects?
Because
It's
she
about
knew
good
it was
it
a
is.
good one.
Doitsu Orange Yogon was 20 cm, now 32. You only work once a year. Ah, dear me. There we go. Look at that little banger now. That's put some good size in it, Big. How many can you send? It was one of your favourite fish from New Forest Koi, Tony. That was a specification. So the second one you sent didn't get shown. No, not bothered, mate. 1 or 2, whatever.
Was this Vicky's, is it?
This is Vicky's, yeah.
I'll do.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right.
Nice example, mate. Well done.
It's a nice fish, though, isn't it?
Yeah, very nice.
That's done some good growing and all in less than 12 months. I'm sure she got that this year, didn't she? Sure she did. Marcus, New Forest Kajaku, 31 cm on arrival last autumn. See comments for the now. So this is the before.
So website.
God damn it.
Oh, we're going to go through this.
The comments of the now. Look at that.
That is blinding.
That's one of my dear ones. That's over £100.
Earlier on, when I was talking about people that if you can nominate somebody trained to be a judge who's got the passion for koi, Marcus is the person I had in my head at the time. because he's definitely got a passion for corn.
Reticulation on that, mate, is banging. Marcus is winning on that, man.
Yeah. So far, so damn good. That's a nice fish, Marcus. Very nice. Rick.
Hey. I like the scales on the shoulder on that. That's beautiful.
Kelly's my new purchase from New Forest Koi selected the ticket drawer at Vince's Tube Fest last Saturday and selected with the help of Crafty. Thanks, guys. I love it. Not the best pick, I'm afraid. There you go.
Is that one of the Deutsch Gimmin
Okay,
Otters?
she's not very
What
good
do
at
you-
Watching miniature, but
Your Deutsche Achievers, that mate, yeah. That's one that you
She
didn't
might
want
not
to
be
go.
good at. She might not be good at taking photos, but she's bloody good at making cakes.
They were at the two cakes, were they hers? Oh, mate, there was some better.
Did she make the strawberry cake? Because if you did, that would damn nice. And I've got a question for you if you did. Was it soaked in alcohol, the strawberries? Because they were wicked. Oh, well, nice, wasn't it? I had 3 pieces of it.
fat bastard.
Tony, enough's enough now. It's coming up in bottom corner. Right then, so is that it in the pond? I'm guessing.
Kenny.
Tucked in there in the little corner.
How do we know it's that one?
Well, because she said it come up and fed straight away as being in, and all the rest of them a lot bigger. Bit of it, yeah.
Can't see it, man.
There's a hole in your net there, Kelly.
No alcohol. Oh wow.
Oh, is that the? Oh, right. Okay. I didn't realise that was. Well, it looks like it's settled in all right.
Yeah, straight up and feeding, smashing food.
He's trying to get out of the way of the big ones.
Sally's bowl to get. Oh no, this is another one. Sally's got loads of fish.
Yeah, level 2. Look.
And they're really good at swimming backwards as well.
Oh, the Mizuno looks all right, to be fair. I think if it was swimming upright, so she's a nightmare. Sally, put more water in the bowl.
I don't understand why people don't put enough water in the bowl.
I think it's everybody's fear that the more water there is, the more likely the fish are to bail and jump out.
More like
Mizuno-
they are to drown.
Nice, isn't it?
Sally sent 4, but she sent him in 2 pictures, so you're already over that. Tony, you would literally keep us here all night long, man. Kikasui bought from New Forest Koi 29 cm on the 31st of the 5th, 24, but the Sumi is starting now at shore, so it's technically a Yamato Nishiki. Around 37, 130 gallons, unheated pond. Bad angle on the video. Here comes the excuses. It's a jumper, says Sally. There you go. It's a jumper.
That's what
Which
we
one
call
was
a
that?
tank.
I'm getting messages coming. This is
If it was a shower, I would go, that's got amazing body shape. It didn't work with toys. The skin's nice, but yeah, it could do with a bit more length, couldn't it?
it's got a nice zip on it.
The quality's all right. It's just this is the back end needs a bit more
Ooh,
stretch.
that's nice. That's nice. Oh, this is nice. This has turned out nice, this Aaron.
Who's this?
You did post it. Oh, no. That's a banger, mate.
Look at the Sumi come up on that.
Yeah, I know. It's good, that, isn't it?
150 quid. I mean, robbed again.
That's nice, that.
Oh, man.
You need to get hold of that red spot and just massage it a little bit that way. No cuts, just massage it every
I
day.
like the way. I know. I like the way it sits on one side.
No, but I mean, it would be an absolute banger, wouldn't it? If that.
It makes it real when it's not perfect.
Exactly.
That's banging. The Sumi on that has come up a treat. That's my new number one, mate.
There we go. I mean, technically, mate, the only person to judge these is you, because these are yours.
I'm feeling
That
a
is
bit
a lot
bad
of fish.
now.
Want it back?
Yeah, that's looking pretty good.
Ginrin Achiba bought a Koi Tuber Fest 23 cm from Lorraine. Oh, man, that's a nice one as well.
40 quid, wasn't it? Ah, mate, I'm starting to feel really bad.
Look at that.
Nearly as good as yours,
Lorraine,
mate.
you got a good one, didn't you? I got one just the same, but it's got a little tancho spot on its head. Well happy with it. I don't know how that even managed to stay in there till the end.
That's going to grow nice as well, and it's got a proper nice long head on it.
Yeah, that's a nice fish. And then Lorraine's Gaz and my choice from the tunnel. If you want to show the other, I'm gonna have to do it. This is the fish that I wanted, and me and Marcus were having a conversation about it, and we stood there having a conversation and that going, "Oh, yeah, that's my choice there. I like that one. That's a banger." And the
Where's that one come from? How many did he get?
the next ticket that were pulled out was Marcus's. So he took me in to pick his fish for him and made me bowl up the fish I wanted. But yeah, that's the. I think Marcus got 2 and Lorraine got 1.
Man,
That's nice and all, Rick.
what's this, a punishment video?
Right, quick question. Identify this fish for Lee.
It's just an orange. Deutz Orangiogon.
There you go, mate. Deutz Orange Ogon. Didn't come from New Forest. I don't know. I don't think it did. It was just
Nice.
set it for 5 years. New Forest Koi, 42 female from New Forest Koi. And this one looks a banger too.
Was that one from last year, Ricky?
Lorraine said they had to have an odd number as a Japanese tradition. So they bought
Could have had one. They could have had one. Yeah, that's from the big Omasako set.
That fish is just an unreal fish. As breeding stock, it produces.
It doesn't produce many numbers, mate. It's a nightmare.
I know, but what it does produce is just unreal.
Oh, see, this is a good fish as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's another 2 years, I think, before that's proper.
Proper.
Yeah. Yeah,
It'll be a banger when it gets
the potential, that one. That just needs a bit of TLC.
I think with the brood stock, you've banged it with the shallows, haven't you?
Keep trying. Oh, this could make me dry.
Is that the fish that he got? That's now massive.
I gave it to him as his on-star.
Yeah. Simon, have you got the other one? Have you got this finished? Oh, there we go. Oh, what a video. Nice one.
So it's got it.
Oh, damn, man. Look at that.
That was fucking free as well, man.
That's mint, mate. Oh, Rick.
The betting on that is fucking
Si, you've got to be happy with that fish, mate. Oh, Yeah. We're going to do that again.
His hand's massive, isn't it? Look at the size of his hand.
No, his hands are quite small, to be fair.
I gave it to him because I thought it
Yeah,
would come.
I remember. Well, that was at KoiTuber Fest 2020.
1 year ago.
2023, wasn't it? Yeah. This time last year. So it's gone from that to that in 12 months.
I said to somebody yesterday that Ricky undersells himself or underprices things because fucking hell.
That's a new record, isn't it?
40, what was it originally?
It's only about 15 cm, I think.
15 cm. So he's put 30 cm on in 12 months.
Beautiful, isn't it?
And it's come for stonker.
Yeah, he's got a lot of growing that he's going to do as well.
Credit there to you, Si, mate.
It's all in the keeping skills.
And just because we asked, she provided the new tattoo.
Is that her arm or a leg?
That's an ankle, that, Rick. I would have said. I hope so. Now I've just said that.
I'll be ruined, didn't I? Oh, they're not mine. Don't say that.
Yeah, these are the ones that I sold. So Scotty, this is the one that he should have took the Sankey to go with. Oh, these are good, these, mate. That's a 2 Deutsch shower that he bought, and he was going to get the Deutsch Sankey to go with it, and he was like, I'm in there, and then he changed his mind. Look at them, man. 100 quid each.
I think the one at the bottom is going to be. It's mad.
Yeah, the one at the bottom is going to, when that Sumi comes up, that's going to look really nice, mate.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad about it. He paid 100 quid. Simon's was free.
It was. Bangers. That one.
I'm feeling a bit humbled now. No, I'm just like a master breed. I'm just sit back and relax.
That Sumi's saying not bad. Come on. Not bad. Better than not bad.
And they're being fed crap food. Oh, sorry, Coppins. They're being fed all right. It could do better.
Another from New Forest Kaya picked up in June. Little red Kajaku.
Needs a bit of better. He needs some feeding, doesn't it?
Yeah, get some
Blame the
food in
breeder
it.
that's not been fed.
I wonder where you would be, Ricky, if you put yourself in line with the Japanese and had the facilities that they got. I reckon you would be Hossa Sansei.
Hossa Sansei, I'll be drunk in the corner.
Oh, Rick.
On the rice wine.
Michael Thompson's, unfortunately, he lost the fish before he had a chance to show it, but god damn, look at that.
Release the beast. Oh, I remember that one as well.
We see a pattern here that your Shiros are fucking
Wow. Look at the Saroji on that, man. That is mint.
That's the best so far.
Yeah, that is a banger, that. Unfortunately, it's no longer, I don't think it exists anymore, but wow.
Aaron's is winning it for me, mate. Is Sankey.
Well, this is entirely up. This is down to you, mate. For this is your evening for picking. These are your fish.
Top judge.
Top judge. Ryan Clarkson's. Oh, no one to go. Not to go with. Ah. Well, from that to that.
Getting smaller.
So it shrunk. No, it's the other way around, obviously. Did I miss that one? No, that's Alice. Matthew Howes. Let's just make sure.
Da-da-da.
No way. You ain't got none of my fish.
I have. You know I have.
Oh, mate. Fucking hell.
Heck.
Did I give
Wow.
that to you as well?
There's
Yeah,
a wild
knowing
fish.
you probably did, mate.
Yeah. It's a NFK fish.
My God, oh my God, from crafting comments. Oh my God. Which means he's sat on toilet having a shit.
Mate, that is banging it.
Yeah.
Flipping egg.
As
Mate,
well.
that's really nice.
You're just shy of 80
No,
centimeters.
don't ever say that your farm produces mediocre koi, because that ain't no mediocre koi.
I know, but I give it to
That's
Matt, didn't I?
me.
Yeah. You didn't give it to me, Rick. Fucking hell, you did not give it to me. But yeah, I did acquire it.
Wow. That's
You
the
took
best
that-
one of the night. That's mine for the best one so far for me.
Yeah, but he stunned it. It's not moving.
It is. It was
That is
told.
mint. That is
Scotty
mint.
Peas, Achiba, Aragoki Achiba.
That is. It's hard to follow that Kahaki, though, isn't it? Matt's just like.
Yeah, Matt stole the thunder with that one, man. God damn.
Did you take that yesterday with Vince? Is that that recent picture?
It is a recent one, but it's not yesterday, no.
Yeah, but I only sold it like 100 quid, man. You stole.
You did
robbed
not.
Me. You
Fucking
robbed
hell.
me.
I can produce no,
Is
I
there any
can't.
there that I've missed? If not, then I'm going to go on to the Telegram ones. So we've got about 900 from.
Tony being on it. I'm just going to put out there. I've got a mix of varieties going on here.
Yeah, Kimatsuba. Wow,
That's banging as well.
that is
But
banging.
he's only had that like a day. Look at that. Where'd you get that from, Tony?
Tony must have one massive pond.
Big Kajaku. That's the same one he got. Those are the two that he got at the show at the weekend.
No, that's an old. You got that from that's a Mark Gardner one from 2 years ago. That one. Crafty, did you see that Gahaku I let Matt have for like tuppence?
I'll bring it back.
Rick, I'm not even going to say the amount, but it was worth it.
It was
Yes,
never enough.
Bigger pond.
Never enough. That's not bad either. Yellow
Oh,
Dragon.
Yamabuki and all, man. Shit, that's got some size. That, yeah.
Fucking muted again. Sorry, dude.
50,
Yeah, I did, Rick, to answer your question. I weren't being rude. Bring more comment up, Gus.
The oh my god. Yeah.
How much did you sell that for?
I can't remember, mate.
All right, man. I'll bring it up, Lisa.
I can remember doing that.
Don't fucking lie, mate. He don't
No,
expect
I did.
anyone to do that.
So we've got Vince's, which was the best Deutsch soup.
There we go. Magic. Mini Lima.
This is nice.
Is this Vince robbing off me again?
Yeah, Kogan.
Fucking Lima.
Metallic Kogan Achiba.
I'm going to win the award for the most varieties, surely.
Now then, we've got one to question here.
Oh, mate, that is quite pretty, isn't it?
That is a pretty fish, that mate. But we're both just timed ourselves out saying that. Shit. That's nice. That real bloody nice. Right. Metallic, Ginrin, Aragoke, Benigoy, Vince says. Now, when me and Daz produced some metallic, Ginrin, Benigoy, you said there ain't no such thing.
There
So
ain't
it's
If it's metallic, it can't be a Benigoy, can it?
there we go.
Yeah.
Right, so what is it then?
It's an
Ginrin, metallic, Aragoke, Orange Yogon.
Orange Yogon that's not particularly metallic, but it's got, look at the fins. It's metallic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's metallic. Yeah.
And there's not enough gin.
It doesn't look big enough to be Akioki either.
So
And I'm not slating that. That looks a fucking good fish.
it's
actually,
right
isn't it?
there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not slating that. It's just like when you dissect what people are calling things, it's not right.
But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? And the bigger that gets, the better that'll look.
But that was a tiny little thing when you get him.
I give it to what Vince.
Yeah. That was a reject. That's from a
many
bucket of
do you-
doom.
I'm looking forward to getting your fish tomorrow now, Rick.
Matt's the only one that's actually paid anything for his fish.
And then we've got this one.
And you're
which
going to be
is,
my mate.
Ki Kikikuru.
What did you call that then?
It's a Ki Kikikuru.
Could be.
I've just read what it said
I-
because it
I-
has got the black coming up. It's just
Basically,
not
yeah.
there fully yet.
Because it's more yellow than red, it's Kikikuru rather than Benny Kikikuru. But that's from the Marasaka line. They are more yellow. And more, they got more chewy blood in them where the pattern runs laterally.
Yeah, I see the lateral pattern. That's nice.
So that's all of what I've had done is that's it.
That,
That's all
that,
the
is,
one.
that is nice, isn't it? But he's only had it a day. I can't give him a.
I'll tell you what, if he hadn't, I know, right, I pointed that fish out. And if he hadn't have bought that was coming home with me. That Key Matsuba.
So we've got Lisa Leach's, and I believe this is a whole batch from you, mate.
No, that platinum.
Oh, we're
that-
looking at one particular in Platinum Deutsch Ogon. Sorry, the Platinum Deutsch Ogon.
was from one of the fry. She took that as a baby.
Yeah, from Mixed Fry last year. Hopefully we get to
Needs to
see.
work on the camera skills.
This is one from Shovat. She's just made use of. Cheated.
Cheated.
Recycled it. Yeah, Vince says there it's more yellowish in the flesh, so it's the Deutsch Platinum Ogon there.
But again, that's from.
That's my.
Was that there at the weekend?
Yeah, that
No.
was that was at the show.
Oh, okay.
So that's our first one. Then we've got this one again, Mixed Fry from last year's 32 cm.
Good growth, mate. I've seen some Japanese fish that don't grow that quick.
I think that's them all. Just the two that she posted. Yeah, sweet. Right. So, I'm sorry, man. I hate to
Can
say
I have
this.
a look, Gaz? Right, because I had to come off for a phone call. There was a 45 centimeter. I think it was a Sankey. I only got a quick glimpse of it.
Oh,
Right.
honestly, that one.
Oh, it's Aaron's. Okay.
Right, Aaron's. Where's his Aaron's? There we go. There's Aaron's.
No, it weren't that one. I've seen that one.
It was size one.
I'm struggling to.
It was this one. It's got to be this one. Right. It started off with this one before to this after. 15 cm,
Big free.
45 cm. Look at that. It's a good fish.
I think he owes me a beer.
I reckon he owes you a few.
I think he owes me a beer.
It is cracking. That's got it. That's a belter.
It hasn't got it, mate. Not for me.
No, it hasn't got it for me so far. And I'd like to look at the Kahaku from Howie's as well.
Yeah,
Matt's or Aaron's.
It's not Howie's.
Not
Yeah,
Howard.
but he posted it. It was down.
I'm just the lucky one that spotted it.
Oh, that's the winner for me, man. That's mint, man.
I'll give you a free Kajaki with it as well, though, didn't I?
You fucking did not.
Fucking did, 100%.
That's banging. That is.
That
Takes it for me.
That takes it for me as well, mate. And I can't believe I've actually charged someone for a fish.
Pause that for us, sir.
You did. If I can actually remember it, Ricky, you did not want to let it go.
What do you really?
It was a bit like on Saturday. It just went up and up and up and up and up.
Look at it, man.
That's mint.
Skin quality is insane, Rick, isn't it?
Isn't it? Really? Saroji on that and the Benny on that.
Benny, Shiroji, technically fucking difficult. Just technically. The only thing it lacks, and let's be on it, a little bit of body.
That's Matt's feeding skills.
There you go. Feeding them out of arse and home.
So, Marcus says
overall,
that's
man,
the winner.
what
I
a
agree, man.
fucking
That's definitely the winner.
What a fish.
That is banging.
Just so that we don't miss it, Lisa says just underneath the carrot there is another fish that they've posted.
No.
I
You
don't
own
think
that fish now, Matt?
Yeah, it's in the big pond.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Start feeding your fish a bit more, you tight cunt.
Don't give it back to me to feed as well. Look after it.
Is that for sale? That fish for sale?
It is now. It is now.
It's not. To be honest, no, it's not. There's certain fish in the pond that you wouldn't. I've got a.
Text me a price.
There we go. That is the new Forest Koi dealer appreciation. And
Thanks,
I would
that
say,
is banging.
I think it would be a unanimous vote.
I think that Kahaku's a clear standout winner. I see a nice Shiro as well.
Yeah.
Whose was that?
Well, that one was not. That one is no more. Doesn't exist.
Oh, that was
It
Michael.
was an exceptionally bloody nice one.
That was.
It's a Roger on that one, mint, man.
Ricky is.
The Benny on, sorry, the Sumi on that
Marcus is Kajaku banging. Aaron's Sankey banging. That 45 centimetre Sankey banging. That Shiro banging.
Are you taking notes?
Of course he is.
Me?
Yeah, I was, because it's hard, isn't it? You get that many. It's just a question of remembering which one you like. So when it comes back to relooking, you've got them there, haven't you? Not taking note, just writing down the ones I liked. Banging.
I like Matt's Kahaku, to be fair.
Text me a price.
I never wanted to sell it.
I can see
I'm not
why.
surprised. I don't think I would have done. I'm pretty sure that fish would have definitely gone in breeding program. 100%.
Text me that price. I'll buy it and I'll show it next year.
Matt should be showing it next year if he's still the proud owner of said fish.
None of us can show it next year because they're all part and parcel of dealerships.
You
Oh,
can show in the dealers show.
Better to sell it to a punter and they can show it.
He has.
Well, to me.
100%.
Thank you. I like the to be honest, the range of fish. That's what I'm happy about. Every variety.
Fish, mate.
Can we do this again
Next week with you? Yeah.
No, at the end of next season as well. Because I tell you what,
to see the development,
see the fish after you move them on, probably even better for Rick because he breed. In fact, it would be because he breeds them. So to be able to see so many in one sitting, that's fucking awesome.
It is pretty awesome, but it's also quite tearful. When
upsetting. I know what you mean. You don't want to sell them. I get it.
Yeah, but it's something he didn't sell.
Well, we might have that Agioki Ochiba next.
Agioki. That's a new one.
I like saying it like that. I have been calling it karaoke.
Karaoke Achiba.
Mate,
Agioki karaoke your chipper.
am I keeping it for you?
You do whatever you want with it.
Mate, I'll breathe from it and you can have choice of the offspring.
Oh, lovely.
Look, let's go back to this Kahaku.
No,
I thought you was a dealer.
I am, but I'm also a hobbyist. I do this because I love doing it. I don't do it
It's not in your personal pond. It's in your dealer's pond.
No, it's in my personal pond.
What is
What?
it?
It's at the
sweet.
shop?
That's better then.
Yeah. Well, I only have one shop. You've seen the video. The main pond in the middle is what I play with.
You
The tank-
play with
I have
them.
yet to
You
watch
just
it.
can't fucking catch them in there, Matt.
No, exactly. I've chucked some fish in there, and I'm like, there is no chance I'm ever going to catch you. I got a mirror carp in there, and I got videos of it or pictures of it when it's 4 inches.
Sell me that
Now-
Kahaku.
Now it's probably 80 cm, 4 years old. It's come
damn.
from its mum is 50.
Can you do me a huge favour, Matt? Can you take it up there and put it in that chuffing lake so we can catch them next time we go?
I did tell my boy that you only caught a tench, didn't you?
I had
Yeah.
a run, but missed it.
It's
Send us
funny
a price
because
for that, mate.
my boys went up there. They've been going there for years, and they struggled for years and years and years to catch anything and lost all hope. And then this year they go up there and they're just banging them out, banging them out, banging them out. And it is weird. And they fish all over the country. One of them sponsored. And he says New Forest Sway Lakes is unique because you can fish it one way and not stand a chance in catching it. But somebody that's literally fishing alongside you, he'll be banging them out all day long.
Yeah.
It's weird.
We did we still had an amazing time. It meant no difference to me. I'm not bothered. I'm not one of those people that goes and have to catch. If I catch, you catch. If you don't, you don't. You still enjoy the fact of sitting there relaxing and enjoying it. That's what it's about. The hobby is not about sitting there banging fish out left, right, and centre, is it? It's the challenge of trying to catch.
But
Well,
the
let's
first
get
one,
back to
Koi. Let's get
So
back to
close
Koi.
water. Mate, I've never seen it like I should have filmed your tents. They put their tents right on the water's edge and then got a big fire on the edge, on the edge of the swim. There was no-
Literally, the fire's feet were sitting in the shallow of the water, resting on the girder.
but to be fair, I've been up there and fished with Ricky, and he's been set up as if he's like beach fishing with the old rods
Let me see if I
stacked
can
up there like that. And there's me with all, or my boys certainly, with all the bite indicators, blah blah blah, and Ricky's catching them, and my boys
Not what you know, is it?
exactly.
Right.
See if we can find it. The picture I took where we were literally outside the lake with.
You had like a lighthouse in the lake on fire. There's no way you were going to catch fuck up. And then you did get a run, and it ran all the way across the lake, and you didn't even.
It
wake up.
ran to us. It ran straight at me. When we didn't have those indicators that drop to give you your bite.
But to be fair, Matt, that is a banging fish. You've done well, mate. You've looked after it well.
Yeah, you can't even fucking catch it to look at it.
You can't catch it, mate. You got it in a bowl with enough
got
water.
it. I got a big fashy guy in there, and she's
There it
not
is.
for sale.
Imagine like that on a Donichi auction, mate. What are you paying for that?
Fuck, mate. Yeah.
Look, campfire there, right at edge of water, literally in the water. We got that thing getting about flames going about 5.5 foot in there and all.
Your fucking tent didn't melt. You was that close.
It was a massive swim as well. It was like 20 foot behind them.
Mate, I can't get over how nice that Kahaku is, mate.
Yeah, that's a good kaku, isn't it? Very good. How big was it, Matt, when you got it?
I got a picture. I was trying to find it just a minute ago. I got a picture of it when it was
It's about 30 cm, wasn't it? It wasn't big. It was
Smaller than that. I think it was 20 cm.
one of them.
It's a good one. Right, ladies and gents, we have pushed up now to the 3 hours and 48 minutes and 47 seconds.
That's
So-
really that's half a day's work, isn't it?
Next, yeah, it is. Next week will be the dealer appreciation, and what we're going to ask you to do is send in your pictures of your favourite fish that you got from Perfect Aquatics.
I haven't got any. Oh, yes, I have. Vicky, you're going to have to catch it.
Yeah, you have. Look at that. It's a banger.
Yeah,
No.
no, Matt. To be honest, tomorrow I've got to get them out because they stopped feeding, so they're coming out tomorrow.
Perfect. We can do a video then.
Yeah.
They have stopped feeding.
They have stopped it. Yeah, I think the water's gone to shit. To be fair, I
Okay,
haven't seen the filter out since last year.
Right then, guys. Usual thing. Thank you very much, gents, for joining us this evening. Thank you very much, Daz. I know you're all whacked out, mate, and absolutely tired. You get yourself a bit of shut eye and a bit of a decent night's kip. Thank you, Ryan, for jumping in and joining us as well. And obviously, thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Usual thing, guys, if you're enjoying this kind of content, do us a huge favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. And until next time, guys, keep smiling. We'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy, all.
Thank you all.
have a good on your bunch of cricket bats
Good night.
just to get it in there.